You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. All right, folks. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hopefully everybody is doing well tonight. We got a late night space. We did a special space just for Stu Peters. Just for Stu. He was so upset yesterday. Like, all he had to have was a little more stick-to-itiveness, a little perseverance. I was going to let him come up, but he didn't want to wait in line. And today it was because of the Jews. It was because of the Jews that he didn't get to speak in the space, and I'm very sad for him. I want to say hi to everybody over here on YouTube, and of course, we got everybody over here on the space on X, and everybody else tuning in for all the other places that we are live streaming. I've enjoyed these spaces. I started to, like, at first I didn't really get spaces. I'm like, why just have this audio thing? But the cool thing about it is it does allow everybody to jump in onto the conversation. And I want to hear from you guys. We'll start handing out mics very shortly. Let me see. I got a couple of things I want to show you. And I know for those of you that are on X, if you want to go to my profile, you can see this. But for everybody else that's watching, I'm getting ready to show this to you. I think this is a really important post today on X. And we have a lot of doom and gloom. Oh, by the way, if you haven't done so already, especially on the X space and everywhere else, if you guys haven't done so, make sure you share. Let's get some more people in here. Let's talk. We're going to be talking about the midterms. We're going to be talking about Trump, his accomplishments, and really anything else you guys want to talk about. I don't care if we go off prompt a little bit from time to time. There's some other things to talk about. I'll actually share a video that I just put out today. And some other information around that post. Ben, do me a favor and give me a mic check. Go ahead and talk. Just make sure I can hear you guys. I already had to log out.
Yep.
Perfect. Gotcha.
I can hear you too. So we're good.
Sweet. All right. So real quick, Rod D. Martin put this out. I don't even know who this guy is, but I started following him today after I saw this. But it's Trump's top 25 achievements. And since we got plenty of time tonight, I want to read these. I think this is really important. For all the black pillars out there, all the people that are doomers that are saying that, there is no difference between Democrats and Republicans. My goodness, you couldn't be more wrong. I mean, there couldn't be a bigger divide between what we're talking about. As a matter of fact, anybody that tells you that there's no difference between Democrats and Republicans, first of all, you're leftists. All right, that's what you are. You're a leftist. So just quit playing. And at least the leftists have, I don't know, the courage to actually say they're leftists. I don't know what these people are. But let's go through the top 25 things. And I bet I can add some more to this as we get through there. Number one, this is the biggest thing for me. This is the only thing I care about when he came into office. He made the border a real border again. And in a matter of months, Trump reduced illegal border crossings to their lowest level in half a century. Catch and release is finished. The wall is going up and even being expanded. Remaining Mexico is back. And the administration reduced releases into the country by an incredible 99.9%. Hey, look, numbers get skewed. Let's say that number's not real. Say it's 95%. Say it 90%. My God, I think going back to the Biden administration, we would have been happy with 50%. But it's 99.9% according to ICE and other government officials. Take that for what it's worth. Number two, he reversed mass migration. America recorded negative net migration in 2025 for the first time in at least half a century. So far, nearly 3 million illegal aliens have left the country, with whether voluntary or involuntary. More than 675,000 forcibly deported, and the rest self-deported. He signed the Laken-Riley Act. Remember that? Does everybody remember the Laken-Riley Act? Everybody was upset about the fact that we were having so many illegal aliens killing American citizens left and right, especially our young women. Named for the innocent girl murdered by an illegal alien, the Laken-Riley Act requires federal authorities to detain illegals arrested for theft, burglary, shoplifting, assaulting police, or other crime causing death or serious injury. Laken-Riley should still be alive. This law will prevent tragedies like hers. Number four, History's biggest drop in violent crime and the lowest violent crime rate in 126 years. According to the FBI data, violent crime in America dropped an incredible 9.7% by 2025. Murder fell 18%, robbery fell 18.5%. Folks, the Trump administration is getting things done. Number 5, he made the 2017 tax cuts permanent and better. The One Big Beautiful Bill, which there was elements of the One Big Beautiful Bill that I was not happy with. I'm not happy with some of the spending that continues to go on. I'm not happy that we don't have balanced budget amendments going on in this country. Our spending is out of control. But what I will say is, like, we'll take what we can get. And this is better than anything that we would have got with Democrats. They would have increased taxes and they would have increased spending. Let's not forget those things. Number 6, he repealed 129 regulations for every new one. That's self-explanatory. He has secured $18 trillion in announced investment commitments. He made reshoring and reindustrialization real, not a slogan. Ford is moving Lincoln production out of China. Toyota is shifting Tacoma production from Mexico to Texas. GM, Honda, Mercedes-Benz, Stellantis, and others are expanding U.S. production. Folks, we're bringing back at least some of the manufacturing back here in the United States. Those are all good things, all things that would not have happened under Democrats. He replaced lopsided trade deals with balanced reciprocal trade. He shifted the global energy dominance from the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of America. Folks, we are now exporting. We are now producing more oil in the United States than we ever had before, and we are exporting and selling more oil exports than we ever had before. After 4 decades of nuclear paralysis, Trump brought 5 new reactors online in a single year. I mean, we got to look at nuclear energy. We really do. It's one of the cleanest forms of energy. I'm sure there's people out down there that would disagree with me. I would like to hear your thoughts on that. Number 12, he broke the deep state's power to defy the elected branches. And Trump versus Slaughter, the Supreme Court ruled for the first time in 90 years that Article 2, Section 1, is still part of the Constitution. The president may fire subordinate officials in the executive branch, overturning the 1935 precedent that insulated independent agencies from voters' control. Number 13, he ended nationwide injunction abuse. Trump versus Casa, the Supreme Court sharply limited nationwide injunctions. A single local district judge should not be able to block a national policy for everyone. He shut down USAID as left-wing slush fund and shadow government. Folks, this was a real issue. It's hilarious to me that now that USAID is shut down, and all of these NGOs are shut down, suddenly the Democrat Party is almost bankrupt. Like, that's one thing that we keep forgetting when everybody is so upset or concerned about the midterms. Like, the Republican Party is not perfect. All right, we have our problems, but I got to tell you, the Democrats are sucking right now. So I don't think their chances of, winning the midterms are as high as everybody thinks they are. It's always a possibility. It's statistically, it's likely, but I think we can beat that. He shrunk the federal government to its lowest level in 60 years. Folks, when has the federal government shrunk ever? Ever. He fired like 10% of the federal workforce. That's insane. That's never happened. He expelled DEI from the federal government. He delivered sweeping pro-life reform. In his first term, Trump delivered the judges that overturned the abominable Roe v. Wade. Hardly anyone believed it could be done. Most importantly, folks, Trump has saved tens of thousands of human lives every single year that he's been in office. And by the way, he's also reduced opioid deaths. I don't know if this is on here. We'll get to it maybe. He's reduced opioid deaths by 40,000 overdoses per year, by the way, per year since he took over from Biden. 18, he got men out of women's sports and restored biological reality to the federal policy. He enacted America's first nationwide school choice program and launched Trump accounts. That was one of the big things that we took advantage of here in West Virginia. Now there's a lot more opportunities as far as scholarships and things like that, where you can get some of your tax money back so that you can homeschool your kids. We're currently doing that with our oldest son. He targeted number 20, he targeted anti-Christian bias and discrimination. 21, he forced NATO to stop freeloading and increase defense spending by 250%. Number 2, he drove China out of the Caribbean. China spent years building strategic beachheads at both ends of the Panama Canal in Cuba, Maduro's Venezuela. Trump forced Panama out of the Belt and Road Initiative, expanded American security access around the canal, and captured Maduro. 23, he brokered 8 peace deals in just 8 months. In 24, he launched the funded Golden Dome, the first ever true missile defense for the U.S. population. 25, he restored the warrior ethos and reversed the recruiting crisis. Folks, Pete Hegseth has done, I love Pete Hegseth as Secretary of War, not a defense, war. So, again, I want to start throwing out some mics out there. Oh, Bree Dale's getting a mic. Timmy G's getting a mic. The good woman's getting a mic. You better live up to your name, woman. You better be good. Devonna, Dre, Mandy. Ben, keep an eye out for Stu Peters, our guest of honor. And I use that term very loosely. We want to let him speak if he can. I don't want him thinking the Jews are keeping his voice silenced.
I'll be on the lookout.
What's that?
Said I'll be on the lookout.
Good. Bree, what you been up to? Bring us some good news.
Hey, good evening. Bring good news. Man, oh man, it's been a tough few weeks actually in the work that I've been doing. But I will tell you, it's always a bittersweet thing when you do investigative work, right? Where you are uncovering things that potentially could, let's just say this, could change individuals' lives, but at the same time, there is consequences for online action. We've discussed on on threads and things, Gary, repeatedly individuals in particular Catholics, and then in particular Catholic priests being involved in promotion of Candace Owens and her ilk, and how that has caused such a scandal. Well, I will say that bishops are not looking too kindly on that type of activism, and are taking in hand and shepherding as they should. And I hope it will bring about some, let's just say, some prudent behavior in the future by such priests, because it only goes downhill when you get involved with this type of narcissistic slop,
Yeah.
And so it only goes downhill, especially if you're a young priest. So, and we have had so many scandals within the Catholic Church brought to light by, secular press, by journalists, whether or not you want to, investigate or consider their motives behind things. At the end of the day, there was a necessary evil that took place when it came to exposing the evil that was lying hidden in the Catholic Church. And so that necessary evil was causing the scandal of people's eyes being opened to systematic abuse. In similar ways, as journalists, we have the necessary evil to hold people accountable in the press when things are done in public and in private that could cause devastation, not just to souls, but to individuals who are trying to live a life as a Catholic priest. And so, yeah, long story short, I think we are going to start to see some action, because I think bishops are realizing oftentimes these priests and bishops aren't online, so they're not aware of the nonsense that we've seen online. Like you and I have seen this, and they're not even remotely aware of the foreign influence ops behind it as well. So it's incumbent to us to continue to expose, and I'm proud to say that we've gotten to know one another, and we've come about this particular role in a way, in a mission oriented sense, right? Like we served before we were given specific skill sets, and we do this for service to the truth. So I'll land my plane there, but glad to be on board and chatting with you this evening.
Yeah, no, thanks. Obviously, I know what you're talking about specifically, so I'm glad to hear that some sounds like systemic change is coming about. But I don't know why you're saying that investigative work is all that hard. I mean, you can just sit. I've heard that ideally you sit in a basement and you never leave it, and then you just leave.
Oh God.
You just leave. You just leave
like
your
Biden.
inbox open. You leave the inbox
Yeah,
open.
you don't beat Pete at all and do like, actual cooperation. That's right. Yeah.
It-
And also, allow yourself to be paid by foreign influencers, yeah, government. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And I can't believe you're worried about destroying people's lives. I mean, I heard that good investigators, they just launch accusations of murder, child trafficking, things like that, and they don't worry about whether or not it's true or destroys anybody's lives. So,
And that's the thing is that I have no desire whatsoever to destroy anyone's life. In fact, I think being held accountable to the truth is important, but at the same time, we should be building one another up. Our society, has been so focused on the negative. I'm so glad that you read out all of the accomplishments of Trump because if, the fact of the matter is, unless you're consistently watching the news, unless you're doing what we do, on the regular basis, Gary, it is like the amount of blackpilling that is taking place right now is just beyond bizarre. And I recall all of those wins, but you don't put it in the forefront of your mind on a regular basis. So it was really refreshing to hear everything that has occurred over the past year. Um, the fact of the matter is Trump is especially the first few months of him being in office, the amount of work. Do you remember just watching like every day, just the amount of work that was being done?
yeah.
Now is the slow slog, against the clock, and this is why the midterms are so vital, because for him to accomplish what he set out to do, and for look, like we've talked about this for Sec War to do what he has to do. I don't think he can do it in 4 years. He's certainly breaking a lot of things, which are great. I mean, it's great to see it, but to ensure that it's rooted in real change, I don't know if you can do it in 4 years. I'd love your thoughts.
No, I don't think you can do it in 4 years. As a matter of fact, so much of the changes being made and the problems being solved. The problem is like those things take time, but to recreate those problems, they can be done very, very quickly.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
immediately. And especially for like systemic change towards the positive. I mean, one of the things that I focused on in recent consultation work in the Department of War is, there has been a consistent issue within government civil service in general, but within the Department of War in particular, where people become incredibly entrenched in doing the thing that they did yesterday and not looking towards doing it better in the near future, i.e., digitization, which has been something that both Trump and Hegseth has said absolutely needs to happen now. Like, timeline is deadline, milestone is next week. No, push it back 2 weeks. You're already late. This should be the intent right now because we are in an existential war with China.
Yes.
And we have got to get ourselves to a point where we are in the 21st century in the government. People are still fat fingering things in Excel spreadsheets and saving it on hard drives. Like what? So it's a necessity that I think a lot of people don't see because, again, it's DC. It is the swamp. It is DC and then the larger government in general. They are entrenched. And so having young Hegseth come in and truly like break things and say, no, we're done with this. And also you're fired, right?
Yeah.
All of this has really shook the GS community, and it's for the good. but it's very easy for them to fall back to fat fingering into Excel spreadsheets. So hopefully we'll see more of that entrenched systemic change, but I think it's going to take more than 4 years, which again brings us to the question, who will be the nominee?
Yeah, one of the things I was just thinking about was like, why aren't we hearing more from the press about the president's accomplishments? And I don't mean just the MSNBC or whatever they are now, and CNN and all these other ones. But one of the things you remember his first term, where like every single day Trump got wall to wall coverage. Does everybody remember the Jim Acosta, the whole like the love fest that Jim Acosta had with Trump? The thing is, I think the press realized, the liberal press especially, realized that whole constant coverage of Trump really blew back in their face, right? It blew up in their face. And so I don't see nearly as much coverage of Trump, negative or positive. Because that was the other thing too, that like that constant negative press really fueled Trump. And I think, unfortunately, they're wise to it now. And of course, he still gets negative press. But the fact is there's just not as much coverage. And quite frankly, I've been disappointed in his whole communication staff. The other thing too, like they got to get somebody that's not just Trump on social media. And they need to have like a White House, like social, like what they need to do is hire Spencer Pratt. That's who they need to hire. And somebody managing.
Yeah, I mean, he would be amazing.
He would
actually, isn't the press secretary's position, isn't that going vacant?
I think for right now it is. I don't know who filled Haley
Holy moly.
Right?
That would be a Spencer Pratt, Phil. That would be amazing.
Either him or Andrew Wilson. I'm just saying, like either one of those. I would like to see Andrew Wilson take questions in the press pool. But like they've got to get more aggressive, period, when it comes to the online presence and getting the message out. It needs to be more than just a press secretary. They need to have a very, like that just needs to be part of the White House now. A very
well, Gary, the war situation, or really it's not a war, but more the military operations going over in Iran right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be very clear. How it's been twisted in the media has really set home to people. And look, you and I, we can complain. I don't know what the rest of the American people are complaining about. Sorry, no, I'm just joking, guys. We deployed multiple times during the last 20-year war, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're tired. We'd be tired, of warfare. But I'll tell you what, we're tired of political warfare. Like, I think most of us who are veterans are like, about darn time with the Iranians, what they did. And like what is going on with this mentality of, oh, we can't engage Iran because it's an endless war. What are we talking about, folks? Like, yeah, we're tired of war, so we should get it done quickly. Yeah, we should do it quickly. Not slog on and play, ridiculous memorandum nonsense. Like we should do this quickly, but it keeps slogging on because politics, and the American people are not supportive of this action, which is unfortunate because this has been coming for a long time.
It sure has. And the other thing that I think that the RNC, conservatives, and the president need to become much more aware of is like we can win a kinetic war, but we can lose the propaganda war. And I think right now that's what's happening. They're losing the propaganda war by quite a bit. Or at least that's what it seems to be the perception on X. Now, I do think, generally speaking, that whether it's the war, whether it's the perceived performance of this administration, I think it is highly undervalued. It's underrated. And so like they need to get, we as the United States, especially the Conservative Party, like we got to get more serious about messaging, about information operations, and get at least as coordinated, sophisticated as the left is, and currently the woke right. I mean, the woke right, clearly is pretty good at it. And obviously, I think they do have a lot of foreign backers, but we can talk about all those things. But yeah, it's and this is, that was one of the things. Just an hour and a half ago, I had Chuck Ritter on, former Green Beret. Shot a bunch of times. One of the times he was shot from 25 yards away was 7.62 by 54, which is the ballistic equivalent of 30-06. Hit him in the spine, deflected downward, didn't exit. He's still alive. But besides that, that was one of the things he and I were talking about. It's
Just besides that.
Yeah, besides that, he and I were talking about, the reason, one of the reasons we not lost, but the reason that the Iraq and Afghanistan global war on terrorism is a perceived failure is because we forgot how to fight wars. We started introducing all this diplomacy mixed in with war fighting. And I blame 100% on General Petraeus with the COIN doctrine, counterinsurgency doctrine. It was bad then, it's bad now. You can't do both. You can't be nice guys and war fighters. That's why we have a Department of State. We go in there, we kill the enemy until there's no one left to kill, or they give up, they surrender completely, and then we can go in there.
And we don't rebuild their country.
Yeah, we don't rebuild their country. We can go in there.
We don't. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I would even okay, if you just feel like you got to rebuild their country or help them, we can build a relationship afterward. And, given some give and take, just like in Japan and Germany, maybe we can help them rebuild their country. But we got to win a war first. And that's what we did. We sat there and fought a stalemate for 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan when we could have destroyed all the enemies within a few months. And, and I can tell you that from experience. We had a target list. We knew what we had capability just with my ODA, and we could have went out and freaking kicked ass and took names. And we were always held back, from stopping real terrorists. These were HVTs. So, that's where we are. We forgot how to fight wars. I blame a lot of the education system, especially higher education. Some of the war colleges, they've adopted really bad doctrine. And until that changes, and then on top of that, we just need to update our TTPs and understand that the information war and what's happening on social media is every bit as important as anything we do from a kinetic standpoint.
Well, I will say, and I'll end with this: the Pentagon certainly looks different than the Pentagon that we fought under.
I agree.
And that's thanks again to Pete Hegseth. And I think maybe this is a lessons learned to ensure that our secretaries of war in the future come from the junior officer class or the salty enlisted non-commissioned officer class, because they're the ones who fight the battles. Everybody else pushes papers. Maybe we just need to have individuals who were operational go back in and rearrange things.
Yeah,
we'll see.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And there's even within Sergeant Major Academy, there's a lot of indoctrination. There was always an old joke that's an E9 would go away, get a transplant, and he'd come back. An E8 would go away, get a brain transplant, and come back a completely different person. And there's a lot of truth to that. Suddenly this warfighter was more worried about constant risk mitigation than he was about winning. And that's an issue. And obviously we should manage risk reasonably. At the same time, war is hell, and we can't forget about that. Henry, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good space, man. Great to see Bree here too. Yeah, wonderful. No, I just want to say I agree with you guys. I think it's a tremendous opportunity. I'm shocked that on the messaging front, we just, as long as I've been alive, man, I don't know. We had a blessing with Reagan, we have a blessing with Trump, although different style and everything, but when you have somebody like Spencer Pratt, I almost feel like they should get somebody like Spencer Pratt and maybe one or two other people that are just have that kind of creative, fun, whatever that can connect with people. And we just on the right, man, we just stuck, and we it's like they know it and they don't give a shit, and it's weird because it's like you would think it's a massive. You would think somebody, and I'm just kind of spitballing, but you would think somebody like a PVD or somebody would be like, oh, this is an obvious weakness, or somebody with money, somebody who's right leaning would jump into that world and just try to take it over. And it's just it is stunning to me that we don't have that it's like a huge it's a huge opportunity. And I agree with you. I think Wilson would be funny being a press secretary, even if it was for a week. and he always had the plaid outfits on and the whole thing, and but yeah, it would be great. Like we don't really have. I mean, yeah, we haven't had somebody like with real great charisma in that role. I don't think for a long time either, and so it would be neat to have somebody that just has a presence. You know what I mean? So anyway, and
Yeah,
I love
what we need
Caroline,
on our
don't get me wrong.
side
I love
is-
Caroline, but she's not like a charisma. That's you know what I mean. It's just a different, somebody who walk in and just owns the room. That
yeah,
kind of a
like,
personality.
well, and on top of that, we just need a better platform for mass messaging. I mean, look, let's be real. What we need is like a really good White House press secretary corps, some really smart people like Spencer Pratt and others that really know how to reach the young people of America and everybody else, because that's who retweets. Like most people that are 35, 40, it's like we got to twist your arm to retweet anything, even if you think it's great. But these people are just retweeting whatever. What we need is a data center and them, and just like this bot farm of putting out good information. I'm joking, folks, but I mean that's really what needs to be done, almost to some extent, to combat exactly what we're dealing with, right? Because that is what we're up against. We're dealing with bot farms from Russia, China, Iran, Cuba, and I think, quite frankly, most of Europe. I mean, none of these people want Trump in office. They're the reason that most of the stuff, this messaging is being pushed. They love to see the right tear itself apart. They think the woke right is, these witting and unwitting tools of destruction for the United States, and these people are participating in it. And it's wild to sit back and watch these people that once claim that I hear them all the time. I voted for Trump 3 times. But yet now you're going to completely try to destroy Trump.
No, yeah, dude, it's 100%. It's all a shtick. It's all a shtick. They're all leftists, in my opinion. Like from whether it's Alex Jones or Nick or whoever. And I don't really, follow them super closely. But like, you can't go from the, like a point of view. You could be, like how do you want to say, critical with in good faith, right? And that's a healthy thing. But like, and I think the right does that really well in terms of like, hey, what do we do bad? But in terms of what you guys were also talking about too earlier, Bree and you, Gary, you guys were talking about like the messaging around Iran, and it's like when they first came out, it was like they have nukes and we have to go take them out. And I was like, you weapons of mass destruction, ignorant fucking idiots. Like, sorry for the language, man. Like, we just had this messaging and it was a total lie, failure, garbage, whatever. Why are we reusing it? If there's rockets firing out of silos, I still wouldn't say that. I just think it's bad. It's vapid. It's just so,
yeah, they're tone deaf.
Like they're totally tone deaf. Yeah. And it's like it's weird. And it's weird too, man, Paramount, because like it's been several months or whatever, but Walter Kurt, who's in some kind of GOP, circles with helping people run for offices and different things, he was talking about this too. He said there's a very stale, old money like world wrapped around the marketing in the GOP world, and they're just very, very, very. And Bree, you're familiar with that. Yeah, he talked extensively about it, and like they put out mailers, and they're very antiquated in how they move.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened with Scott Pressler. I mean, he has done so much in the way of boots on ground initiative, and he has just been time and again snubbed by the ruling class of the baby boomer aged generation in the halls of GOP. It's not good. It's not good. Meanwhile, I posted up in the nest for you, Gary. X came out today, and I need to read this for people because this is fascinating. X safety team conducted an investigation into suspected Chinese inauthentic accounts involved in the influence operations.
Oh, wow.
We identified
Shocker.
a bot farm of approximately 200,000 accounts, folks. 200,000 accounts. Within this farm, we found 200 accounts posting in a manner that could manipulate a legitimate debate about American AI and energy policy. These posts contain claims that AI data centers are driving up household electricity prices and constraining the grid. Did we not call this?
Yes.
Did we not call this being Chinese propaganda? Others included AI generated cartoons that depicted data center operators enriching themselves at the public expense. We remain committed to maintaining an open and authentic platform where people debate topics of public interest. We take seriously any attempt to undermine the integrity of Global Town Square and suspend accounts that violate our authenticity policy. Look, I hope they start going after the Pakistani bot farms that have been, and the Qatari bot farms, and all of these. The Chinese are absolutely clear that they're involved with this, and same with the Russians. I mean, look, they're going to take advantage of free speech.
Yeah.
But we're not even talking. I mean, we're just talking about X and one particular bot farm, 200,000 accounts, 200,000. Turn that around and take a look at TikTok. TikTok is one full bot farm of Chinese influence. And yet it is the main platform that is being used by younger generations. It's very concerning that we're having to fight this propaganda, this level of propaganda operations. And what we have is, as Henry said, the aged, siloed, pamphlet holding, GOP.
No, and Bree, just a really quick point, Gary. Like as much as we like Pratt, like Pressler is an absolute rock star.
Yeah,
an absolute rock star.
Scott Pressler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, what he's doing as a single person and working to get out the vote, I mean, is he's out there doing God's work. To no doubt about it. We will have him on very soon. Very soon. We've been in talks. I'd love to have him on and see what else that we can do in many different ways to look. We got to win this election, folks. That's really what it comes down to. We've got to win the election, and then we got to win 2028 as well. Like, there's too much at risk. And I know it's said all the time, but I mean, this really is one of the most important elections ever, if not the most. We already have a game plan from the Democrats. They're already telling you what they're going to do if they win. And it's packing the Supreme Court. They're going to open the borders. It's everything that Trump has been able to do, which is a lot. Those are just the top 25. There's so much more that are going on behind the scenes that people don't realize, don't think about, because it's not getting any attention. And the White House needs to do a better job of that. We need to do a better job of that. Those of us that are independent media and or just people that care, like, we need to start getting that message out, because we're fighting a huge machine that wants to convince everybody that Trump's failing at every level, that he's worse than Biden. It's just utterly stupid. And the good news is these people have proven to us that there is a lot of people out there. Obviously, there's a lot of bots, but there's a lot of people out there that are easily influenced. You get somebody with the communication savviness. I don't know if savviness is a word, but the communication capabilities of Spencer Pratt, and we can turn a lot of these people real quick, because they're easily influenced, and they've proven that time and time again. Mish, go ahead. The good woman. I didn't realize who you were there for a minute.
Yeah.
What's
I
happening?
stuck with the good woman on both. Nothing, just doing my womanly duties, talking. No, I'm kidding. So what I wanted to say is that you guys are so right on the antiquation of the GOP, because I tried to get involved as a younger, person, and they look down on you. Like, maybe they feel threatened by young people in politics. I don't know what it is, but even like going in there, like, I thought like TPUSA would be involved in my, local GOP, but they get booted out very quickly.
Really?
Yes, like, they're so anti TPUSA. I don't know if it's the drama that they're wanting to stay away from, but even before any of this drama, like more than a year ago, like, they just look down on you and they're like, no, what are you doing here? Like, you're not following our rules. And then everyone's over 60. I don't know. So it's really something where it's like, we need to get young people to be more involved so that we can be the majority in these meetings. But it's really more like, it's hard to find someone younger than like 30 at those meetings.
Yeah, and look, there is like this old guard mentality, and this is probably why they are conflicting with TPUSA. I mean, TPUSA is a younger generation based, which we need, right? We've got to start, indoctrinating a whole nother generation of kids, and like we're way behind the power curve, and we are always behind the power curve when it comes to fighting against what they get in schools every single day, what they get in culture every single day, what they get in social media every single day. I mean, it's honestly, when you think about what we have going against us, it's a wonder that there are any conservative young people at all under 20, 25, something like that, you know? So, and look, that's why they took out Charlie Kirk ultimately. That's why they hated Charlie Kirk. That's why that they said everything that they did about Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. But there is an element of this old guard and this gatekeeping of these 35 plus type folks that has to stop, because all you're going to do is you're going to push the younger kids into like the left will take them. The left will take anybody. They'll take anybody. So we better smarten up. We better start getting some strategy. The other thing that the GOP really needs, or conservatives, whatever you want to call it, I would say conservatives, because I think we're the more more sophisticated.
It's a better descriptor, yeah.
Yeah, I would just like we need a 50-year plan. We need a 50-year plan, and then we need that 50-year plan broken down into smaller goals that are going to culminate in whatever it is we have 50 years from now. That's why the Russians have beaten us. That's why the communists, and by Russians I mean the communists, have beaten us and taken over this country. They started back in the 40s and 50s, man. When that had to seem like an insurmountable task. Like, we're going to take this Christian conservative nation, we're going to get them to start pulling in people voting for socialism and communism and abortion, and we're going to turn it into a godless atheistic society. Like they had a plan. And we don't. I don't know I don't even know what the freaking plan is between now and the midterm for the RNC. I sure as hell don't know what their 10-year plan is, much less their 25, 30, 40, 50-year plan. We got to start setting some goals.
Charlie's main target was going to be Islam, that's why he was going to, be on that debate with Hassan.
Yep.
And on the 25th of September. So, here where I'm in Georgia, I had a friend that drove 2 hours to a county that's the largest Muslim population in the Southeast. And she went to speak, and she's like, you guys are not going to take over. She's letting them know. And they're like, no, our plan is to be elected in office in all 165 counties. So that's their plan. That's their jihad now. It's get elected, take advantage of the freedom of speech, of the inclusion, and take over.
Yep. And we see that happening all over the country. I just, about a month and a half ago, I was in Dearborn. It's nuts. It's nuts what's happening. There's places in Texas. People need to wake up. And Islam is not compatible with an American, much less a Western society, much less the American society. It's just not. It's not. And we need to understand it for the threat it is. Charlie Kirk was extremely clear-eyed about that. And for whatever reason, we sit back here and we say, I don't know, people are just intimidated. We get painted as racist for saying these things, but it's just a fact. I don't know, have some courage. People are going to call you mean names, or you could just lose your country, but they'll treat you real nice until they put you in chains. How that works. The cranky old man on YouTube, he says, I'm sorry, I have only watched a few videos and had you pegged as an anti-Trumper. You've been watching the wrong videos. I don't know how there'd be a single video you could watch, cranky old man, and come to that conclusion. We are MAGA all the way over here. I mean, the alternative is a globalist agenda for the left or the right, and I'm not into that. Not into that. Rando Cat, go ahead, bud.
Hey, brother. Hey, everybody. So my thing is, I never got why, or it's probably the low IQ, lack of education, but Iran war is partially Israel's, but it's mostly ours. And if you go back to what they supported in U.S. military deaths in Iraq and Afghanistan, 603 U.S. deaths, U.S. troop deaths, just in Iraq alone.
Yeah.
And then the Beirut bombing, Khobar Towers, the seizing of the boat, their government chanting death to America while racing towards a nuke. I mean, how is this not our issue? How is this not our problem? I don't get the Israel war nonsense when it's literally our problem.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
And I was stationed on the border of Iraq and Iran in 2008 and 2009, and that was my team's one of our primary mission sets, is that we were monitoring what was going across that border, and we saw EFPs. We interdicted Quds Force. We interdicted, all of these different Iranian insurgents coming over there. We sat there and watched them on IRSR feeds, and just like you said, there was well over 600 Americans killed with EFPs alone. That's not even taking into account of all the training and the insurgents that came from Iran, which were probably, would account for triple that number. And then on top of that, all the people that were maimed, like that's not even including the people that lost legs. I mean, the EFPs were absolutely devastating. Once we started having the MRAPs in place, the larger armored vehicles, that made a huge difference.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it wasn't fun to be in a rollover in one of them, but
No.
yeah, it was definitely a game changer. Because we're in strikers starting out, and then we end up getting the MRAPs. Well, we're in Afghanistan, so yeah, no, I totally get that.
100%. Yeah. Oh, I can't stop yawning today. I can't stop yawning tonight. I don't even feel tired, but I have some yawn problems going on. Cam, I see you down there. Jump in here, man.
You need to rip it.
I do need.
Yes, sir. How are you, Gary?
Good, Cam. How are you?
Good. I heard Bree dropping some truth bombs earlier, and then I had a call come in and had to leave, but now I'm back.
Never prioritize the call.
What's going on, everybody?
Never prioritize the call over Bree.
I know, but when that call is paying you money and your salary, you kind of have to.
Freaking shill.
Even if it's after.
Did I just hear that Israel called you, Cam? Is that right?
Yeah, got to get my 7,000 shekels.
7,000.
Right. Even though I've been told I'm not posting enough on X lately. I field those complaints. So, anyways, quite an interesting title today.
Yeah,
Stu Peters.
Stu Peters was down in the chat yesterday. I saw him down there, and I already had a line going. I was letting people up as they come, and anyways, it was literally time for him to come up. I looked down, he was gone, and then today he's posting and whining. I could probably find the tweet. I should have posted that earlier. But he's like, and then he's like turning it into some sort of conspiracy, which was hilarious. I guess one of the people that we had as co-host had him blocked. He's like, I know he's on this space. He was wanting to talk to Blake Neff. I already knew what he was going to ask him, but he's like, I couldn't even get on here. Something's crazy's going on. Like, no, look, you're just blocked by one of the co-hosts. That happens too. Like, I don't know. So anyways.
And which I don't get that. I as somebody who's been in that situation, I don't understand why the entire spaces blocks you out if just one of the co-hosts blocks you. Like, shouldn't it just be if the host blocks you and not a co-host?
I almost think, I could be wrong, but I have been on spaces where I know the co-host the host blocked me, but it wouldn't let you. So I think it might just be the co-host. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know, but
I think it's if it's the host, possibly the co-host or the space.
Definitely the co-host for sure.
I don't. Yeah.
It must be the co-host because I've been booted and blocked, and not only that, but the space just like straight up like doesn't appear for you, or if it does, you have to really do some digging in some timelines, and there's not even a join button. Like, it doesn't even let you listen to the space, much less join the space. So they could be talking about you and shit, and you can't even hear what they're saying about you.
Yeah, so here's
they could be insulting your mother. They could be, saying your mother's doing this and telling you mama jokes, and you can't even hear it.
So here's Stu Peters' whining little tweet. He said, "Notice Blake Neff in a space with Paramount Tactical, so I tried to join, but they blocked me like cowards. So I joined with Stu Peters' net account. Like, that tricked us, Stu. Like, we blocked you, but we let you join in with the Stu Peters net account with your logo and everything else over it. Raised my hand and Blake dropped to listener within 5 minutes. Has Blake said where he was 9/10/2025 between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m.? So anyways, he was all butthurt about this. There was another post that he put out about it as well. So I wanted to dedicate a space just for him. We'll see if he shows up. I don't know. Blake might show up, Stu. He might.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gary, since
Hey,
Stu's not
Gary.
here, how about I jump in and take his place for him?
Sure. Go ahead, Joe.
I've been following the case for, I don't know, a decent amount of time, and I think I got a pretty good handle on everybody's take on it. Just a question to start this off. Don't you feel like you spend a little too much time on two in particular people as opposed to the investigation that you say you're interested in?
Don't you think that those two people spend too much time on one person and one organization?
No, I don't think about them that much at all. I focus my time and my thoughts and, what I'm going to do on what I can figure out, what I can find out, what I find suspicious or not suspicious. I don't focus on one person or two persons or three people.
Sure.
I focus on what's actually happening.
Well,
which
I
is
am
what you
too.
claim to do,
And what
but
they're doing.
every single thing you put out seems to involve one of two people.
Sure. Well, that's not necessarily true. Number one, I have lots of podcasts where I don't talk about them at all. And on many different
Who are
topics.
those two people?
I didn't say
He's talking
everyone.
about Candace Owens and Baron Coleman. Here's the problem, Joe, and this is how I feel, and you can disagree with
Okay.
me, but I feel like that Candace Owens and Baron Coleman and the entire ilk, because they're the head of the snake, are the biggest problem that we have in the United States right now. That's how I feel, because when people can be tricked with such low grade propaganda and they can believe absolute nonsense. I'm not worried about Candace Owens. I'm not worried about Baron Coleman. They are.
Even though you just said they're the biggest.
Hold
threat
on.
to the
Listen. Don't cut me off.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
just going to
Yeah,
drop
go
it
ahead,
down.
go ahead.
I'll get I promise you. I'm going to give you plenty of time to speak.
Okay.
What I've consistently said is that both of those people, or primarily Candace, is the mascot for a much larger problem. When you have people believing that somebody with so much evidence against them is innocent, and then somebody that has zero evidence against them is guilty of killing their own husband and their own organization had them murdered, or that Israel this, like, you can be tricked of anything. And I'm not worried. Again, Candace is a placeholder for a much larger problem. And that is when somebody, this is like the beta test. Like when we have somebody that is much more sophisticated, has much more charisma, that's much more believable, and they can trick the amount of people in the United States that Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, and some of these just grifters, they're lying. I've proved definitively that they have lied to you people time and time and time again. And yet you don't listen. And going back to my investigation, I'd exhausted just about everything, and until we get new things, as new things come out. But really, I'd exhausted just about everything there was to really look into till about November. I mean, I went to UVU. I talked to dozens of eyewitnesses. I went and traced the steps of Tyler Robinson or whoever that was. I've looked at the evidence. I've had multiple lawyers on to go over, defense lawyers, to attempt to impeach the evidence in the charging documents that we have there. And all of these crazy defenses that people come up with, no sane lawyer, no real lawyer has any problem with it. I've had other people on. I've had multiple other ballistics experts on to talk about the ballistics, the terminal ballistics of all this. Like, we have went through this in ways that Baron Coleman and Candace Owens never has. I've had like 5 or 6 different eyewitnesses come on the channel to give their testimony of what they experienced and what they saw. We don't see these people doing any of these things. I mean, Baron Coleman, for a great example of this, for the last 11 months, he's pushed this conspiracy around the timeline of Charlie Kirk's autopsy. He's done this for 11 months. He's done multiple podcasts that were dedicated to this one thing. He said, this can't be done. Maybe there wasn't an autopsy. It takes so much longer to do this. It takes hours and hours to do an autopsy. He goes on Julian Dory with Joseph Scott Morgan, and everything that he's been saying for the last 10 months gets destroyed in an instance regarding that particular element. Or you could just Google it. I Googled it. It takes 2 to 4 hours for
I
autopsy.
love Joe Scott Morgan.
He's amazing. So, I mean, he's been.
Yeah, but the post you go ahead. I thought you were done.
Yeah,
And
no,
he's a certified death investigator, unlike you, Joe.
So
I didn't claim to be a certified death
So-
investigator.
the point here is do I believe that Baron Coleman did that out of he just didn't know? When you can Google these things, no. The problem here is that the narrative is too, like, he has made tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars off that one narrative alone. He has changed the minds of so many people to see suspicion when there was none off of that one narrative alone. And he has known, he's had to have known either that, or he is just reckless, or he's completely irresponsible. All it took was a quick Google. How long does it take to do an autopsy? 2 to 4 hours. But he has pushed this for the last 10 months, and he's milked it, and he's milked his gullible viewers. And I see my job to go out and call these liars out. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it, but I am compelled to do it. And I'm going to continue to do it because the American people deserve the truth. Go ahead, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely fair. And honestly, I've seen almost, if not all of the podcasts that you have put out, all of the videos you put out, all of the information you put out on your Twitter, essentially since 9/10 up until today. I don't skew one way or the other. I take all the information in and I analyze it as best I can with the information that we have at the time. New stuff comes out, old stuff goes away. I think everybody can understand and accept that. My thing is when you start focusing what is supposed to be what actually happened here to, oh, wait, I don't like these two people or what they're saying because people might listen to them. So I'm going to go, and regardless of what the evidence does show, because there's been a few things that you have said that whether it was a lie or just misrepresenting certain facts or what you believe to be facts, that you have, to your credit, come out and said, hey, I got this wrong, or hey, I've gotten this wrong. But there's still things you haven't done. You have quoted the fact that the parents have said that he had confessed to him in the charging documents.
That's true.
But when you read the charging documents, what you actually find is that's not what they said. That is somebody saying that is what they had said.
That is a sworn.
That was also
hold
not
on.
written by them.
Hold on, Joseph. That is a sworn affidavit. Like, I have talked to multiple investigators. I've had Kyle Seraphin on, who has worked for the FBI. He's now completely antagonistic toward the FBI. I've had multiple other investigators on. I've had lawyers on. Joseph, that is not a lie. And here's what I will say, Joseph. And it's not just in the charging documents. It's also in the affidavit for arrest, for the probable cause. The probable cause affidavit. Also understand, Joseph, and this is one of the things I had a lawyer on when we were going through the preliminary hearing. You understand,
Andrew.
You understand that those charging documents have been entered into as evidence, right? All that information is evidence. And if it was contested, the defense team would have contested it. It's not.
They couldn't contest what they didn't have. They didn't receive the majority of the
No. That's false,
the day
Joseph.
after the preliminary hearing.
No, Joseph, that's false. They said as of June 18th. Hold on. I'm going to pull up the post and I'm going to play it for you because this is you're listening to the wrong people. The very beginning of the preliminary hearing.
I just told you were a large portion of who I'm listening to.
Okay. I'm just saying if you were told that they didn't have access to discovery, that is incorrect. At the very beginning,
I said all of the discovery.
Hold on. At the very beginning of the preliminary hearing, the defense
they
asked,
did not have total discovery. They did not.
No, they did.
The gun was still sitting in Langley.
Hold on. They literally said that the attorneys, the prosecuting attorney got up there because the defense asked for a report. They said as of June 18th, they have turned over 100% of everything that they have.
What they have.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So,
but that doesn't include
hold on.
Have yet to give them. No, you can tell me to hold on, but you told me you were going to let me speak, and this is a point that I do want to make. You're saying that they gave them all of the discovery. No, that's not what they said. They said that they gave them all of the discovery that they have.
They didn't say all of the
what they
discovery.
don't
He said it was
have
in the discovery.
are the
You're
reports.
misrepresenting.
Is the back end data. Is all of the information that the
wait.
defense
What'd you
team would
say,
need
Joe?
to make an argument.
Hold on, Joe. What'd you say? The back end data?
I was listing examples of data that they don't have. That they said
You talking about the cell phone data?
The preliminary hearing, that they do not have specific data sets that they need to be able to argue it. The judge ruled that they did not need it at that time during the preliminary hearing to proceed.
What back end data?
Extend it. Huh?
What back end data?
What back end data?
You said they didn't have the back end data. Because if you're talking about
How
the cell phone
Tyler
data,
Robinson's
hold on.
If
If you're
Tyler
talking,
Robinson's metadata cell phone metadata.
that was delivered on March
They have his
18th.
cell phone.
That was in March 18th. All of the metadata, the Cellbrite metadata, all the information from the cell phone was delivered to them on March 18th. You know that, right?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Look it up, Joseph. Do you have Grok?
I will, and you know what? I'm open to being wrong.
I'm telling you
You want to say
100%.
that the cell phone data that they received it, even though they specifically told the judge that they had not even received, specifically citing the cell phone and data accompanied with it.
No.
And of course, the
They
people-
said they still have
the-
not had access to the cell phone. They had all of the cell phone data. The access to the cell phone is a moot point. Yeah, they're going to get it eventually, but it's the
So
cell.
you agree though that they don't have it?
You don't need the cell phone data. I mean, you don't need the cell phone to have the cell phone
Well,
data.
let's clear this point up real fast, just because of what you just said. First, you told me that I was wrong and that they didn't, that they did have it. Now you literally just said that they don't have it, but they will.
I
get
asked,
it.
hold on, Joseph, do you not remember when I asked you specifically, are you talking about the cell phone data? And you said yes. And I said they gave all of the cell phone data to them on March 13th or 18th. I can't remember which one, but it was back in March.
Okay, and see, this is where splitting hairs, especially on social media and podcasting, like this is why there is such a split with people, and it drives me insane when I listen to it. People will split the weirdest hairs over the strangest thing. My overarching point is there is evidence that is being presented that the defense team did not receive during and up to the preliminary hearing. They cannot form an argument over information
So hold on.
that they don't have.
Let's
They-
talk about one thing at a time.
Gary,
Hold
what
on.
do you think about the
I'll let you jump in a second. Let's talk about one thing at a
All right,
time.
sorry.
Because your
Let's
first
go.
claim, hold on, your first claim is that we don't
And
know
if I could be on deck, that'd be great. I want to weigh
That's
in
fine.
as well. Gary.
So your first claim was that this information that the parents allegedly told an officer, and they wrote this down in a sworn affidavit that they also have testified against. They have too. So what information what evidence would be able to go against that whatsoever, other than actually bringing the parents up to the stand, which they could have, by the way? Like, what evidence?
Yeah, and I've heard that's been contested a lot. A lot of people say they couldn't have done it then. Yes, technically they absolutely could have. I mean, attorneys have a lot of different means if they need to get information to a judge. So that's not something that I said, but I absolutely understand it. But you're saying that if you take an argument being presented to show somebody's guilt or innocence, but the opposing party does not have that information to form an argument, all they can do is what they did during the preliminary. Look, we're doing a standing objection. We don't have this information to form an argument to it.
That's not what their standing objection was.
They're standing. Well, which one? They had more than one.
Well, I mean, the primary standing objection was the hearsay argument.
That was a part of it, yes.
But again, what you do have is you have what's not actually hearsay, and what isn't hearsay is the testimony, the firsthand testimony of every person there. The DNA evidence itself is
First-hand testimony off of second-hand information is still hearsay, but under 1102,
no. The firsthand, their testimony is not hearsay. All right, their testimony is not hearsay. That's not hearsay at all.
Testifying to something that they witnessed personally, then I agree.
They 100%. They had the DNA. The DNA evidence was not hearsay. The text messages were not hearsay. You understand that, right?
Absolutely.
So that was evidence that was submitted, that was not contested by the defense. So, like, just the text messages alone. I mean,
okay, let's go with that. Well, you're right. Let's pick a point. Text messages. Go ahead.
What about it?
Well,
I mean, it's not hearsay.
It's
It's evidence. It's been submitted as evidence. It wasn't contested at all by the defense.
And who testified to the text messages? Lance Twiggs. Was he allowed?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Look, all of the text messages were submitted as evidence. Lance Twiggs' testimony was hearsay because he wasn't there in person. Guess what? Come to trial, he's going to be there in person, and then his testimony will not be hearsay. It's only because they couldn't cross-examine him. Lance Twiggs is not the person that confirms or denies the legitimacy of the text messages. It's the forensic analyst, which, by the way, the defense has had, and their own forensic people have already went through that evidence. Because
that's not true.
They've had it since March, Joseph.
Unless it has been done since the preliminary. What you just said, all of the Cellbrite data, that is not true. They did not have that to go into the preliminary hearing with.
You're saying they don't have the Cellbrite data?
I'm saying when they went into the preliminary hearing,
they've had it since March, Joseph. They've had it since March. Please Google this because you're sounding very ignorant.
If you're saying that they have a report, then I'm not saying that they didn't have a report. I'm sure an analyst wrote up a report that they gave them.
No, they don't have the report, Joseph. They have the cell phone data.
Can I just jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's bouncing all over the place. I mean, but real quick, guys, even if he doesn't have, let's say that cell phone data.
Yeah, go ahead, Henry.
There,
go ahead. Then I want to say one thing.
Just real quick, and Joe, whether they have it or not, it's a preliminary hearing. Who gives a shit? Is it not? Is the case not going to trial? Is it like going to get thrown out? Because what are you talking about, man? What's the overall practical impact and concern? Who cares?
See, and then you guys throw these huge spaces up, and as soon as somebody says something that you guys, who gives a shit? It don't matter.
Bro, all you've done is fucking talk the whole time. So
yeah,
just
dude, you're
listen.
filibustering out the wazoo, man. You're filibustering out the wazoo. And by the way, I didn't say that to throw it out, to disregard it. You didn't hear.
Have a little self-awareness, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
he asked you a question. Answer the question.
Yeah, if that cell phone data is there or not there or in question or whatever, it doesn't change the outcome ultimately.
A report and the metadata itself, those are not the same thing.
You're not a victim.
The metadata.
You're not responding to the statement, dude. It doesn't change. Do you think it's not going to trial? Let's say, for example, they had some kind of, I don't know what the process would be, but they had some kind of a thing where they called everybody back in and the attorneys came in and the defense and the prosecutor, and they're dealing with this discrepancy. Let's say this was an actual discrepancy that everybody cared about, which they don't. But let's say they did. Would the result of this be oh, we're not proceeding forward? No, it would have no bearing. They would sort it out. They would get it sorted for trial, and it would be one piece of the whole puzzle, and that's it. End of story.
But for the record, they do have all of the Cellbrite data. They've had it since March. Who
gives a shit, Gary? Like that guy said, right? Who gives a shit? It don't matter. Who gives
right. So everything. So Joe,
everything you said, involving an alleged.
Joe, you're way too emotional.
Shooting.
You're way too emotional.
You're not understanding it, Joe. And Joe, the other thing, Paramount, is Joe has been in so many spaces where the whole emphasis and the whole thing is the crafting of a bad faith message, by design.
Yes.
And so it's twisting the mind into this is how we need to think and talk about things. No, think about things in good faith and rational and reasonable, and be kind and respect. Dude, Gary, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you guys have done really.
Where'd he go?
I kicked him down. Listen, Joseph, if you want to come back, you want to be not emotional, you can come back. But I'm not going to deal with you freaking out over this and not being able to talk about this rationally. Go ahead.
Could I just say one thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. And actually, I would like to invite Joe back up here because every time I want to say something, whether it's to that black farmer guy or to Uncle Tom, I apologize to black farmers. I know many black farmers and they are fine people. Or whether it's to Joseph, they seem to get kicked down before I can actually talk, have a dialogue with them. But so I hope that he can actually come back up here. But I do want to just say that, look, and Gary, I say this lovingly. If your two biggest problems in America are Candace Owens and Baron Coleman, you're having a better week than your country. I mean, you're a Green Beret talking this case. Okay, you're mad about, basically his guest list. You're kind of stooping down to his podcast rotation in a way.
What?
Let's,
Well,
brother.
First of all, I'm not mad.
Candace.
First of all, I'm not mad. What I am is I'm concerned. If you control information, you control this country. And when I hear people like you say this, and you don't understand the impacts of this at scale, I'm concerned about your ability to actually see what's happening. Like, do you understand?
No,
Because
I understand.
like
I
this
understand
is,
you want to get defensive, and look, I'm not attacking, but I'm just saying if Candace and Barron are the emergency, then the border, fentanyl, and the debt, they must be solved, and they're not. Okay, so like we've got a lot of big problems in our country still.
You said the fentanyl is not solved, or there hasn't been progress on it. Like
Exactly.
no, there
No.
actually has.
Bro.
We're down like
There's like
40,000.
100,000 less deaths.
Yes.
Yeah.
Per year.
Those have been
Again,
from-
the reason that we get to an open border is through
But
misinformation.
they're not solved.
Well,
They're not solved.
It's not solved, but
Well, define solved.
the point that
Yeah.
the point here is like the reason that we get to a point to where people are supporting borders being open is through misinformation. Like the reason that we get to a point where we could lose the midterms because of we have this divide in the right over this particular case is through misinformation. And this is how, this is politics. Like the reason that the Republican Party exists is because the counter message what the Democrats are doing. And like we don't, I feel like we're smuggling in the idea that we starve the grift idea. Like somebody has to take this on, and quite frankly, I just don't see anybody else. And I feel that that's what I should be doing right now. And I do see it as a real problem. And it's bigger than Candace Owens. She is the mascot of what's going on. What we're seeing is this mass. We see bots. We see. I think this is all part of a huge foreign influence operation. This is much bigger than, and that's how we lose wars, is through misinformation. So, look, like I don't judge any. Like I know a lot of people don't understand what I'm doing, and I get it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it is hugely important, and nobody
No,
else.
I agree. Look, let me rephrase. Anyways, Joseph's gone. We're good. Gary, this is your room. You're the guy who has actually done the work. Rooftops, ballistics. What a phone dump is versus internet fan fiction. So, I think you get to speak a little bit more on some of these matters. Like you actually know what an internet phone dump is.
Mm-hmm.
And, this guy just doesn't, right? Like, so all I would say is just let him go. I mean, Gary's a Green Beret sniper instructor. He's not, you were midpoint and you were talking about, basically how they have back in March 13th or March 21st, given all of the phone data. And he still wasn't satisfied by that. He was still getting very emotional. And clearly he is emotional because of something. So, I actually want to rephrase. I'm not trying to pile on Joseph for logging off.
I don't take any of this personally. I really don't.
No, it's, I'm not, look, I just want to recenter things on your credentials here.
Well,
So,
I actually avoid that, Cam, and I appreciate that. But that is, I take that as a, coming from, I'm having a brain fart tonight. I can't think. I clearly am more tired than I thought I was.
We all have brain farts.
But that is coming at it from authority, and I don't even want to do that. I want to talk in the same way that, look, one of the things that made Charlie unique.
These people are really freaking ridiculous, though.
They are.
Sometimes you got to just ridicule these people.
I'm with you, and I do it all the time. I ridicule these people all the time. Trust me. But here, like I said, we already see.
I like experts and data. That's what I go off of.
I'm with you. And what I try to do is try to hit this from a
Fauci experts, but real experts.
Yeah. Look, I want to hit this from a multifaceted approach, right? So again, through humor, through ridicule, through as much data as I possibly can, all those things. But we also see, you can look what the most pervasive discussion in this country is. It's this, whether you like it or not. Like it's this. It shouldn't be. I agree with that, but it is. and we can say, you know what, I don't need to fight that fight. I'm over here. I'm a serious person. I'm over here worrying about domestic policy. And what I don't think people understand is this is all so conflated that if you ignore one, you ignore the other. And that's why I do like hold these spaces when we talk about domestic policy. This is why I do the podcast where, sometimes I'm talking about domestic policy or foreign policy or other major events and issues. But I can just tell you, like what people want to know is what's going on with this time and time again. So it's important. And I understand someone like you that you're clearly a policy wonk, and I love hearing you talk about things, Cam. But I think there's a disconnect there between what the real discussions are happening here in the United States. That's all I would say.
There's a disconnect, Gary, and that's why I'm here, because I want to close that disconnect and get to the policymakers what America's actually talking about. And but listen, Gary, forget the last 10 minutes, okay? Like from a sniper in forensic seat, what is the one fact from the prelim that people keep getting wrong?
I think it's that, and that one of the things that I actually, now I can't find anything today, but I've posted it multiple times. I went through all the things that they're getting all the same things that can't get wrong. They're getting that, they think this whole thing was hearsay. I went through and I have a video, like it's a 2-minute video where I list all the things that are not hearsay. The text messages not being hearsay, other discovery issues, like they didn't have all that information. They have 100% as of June 19th, 100% of everything that the prosecution has. So everything that they're bringing to trial or the hearing, like they had the evidence to support those items. Like there was nothing there that was discussed that the defense did not have, outside of Lance Twiggs being able to cross-examine Lance Twiggs. So
why aren't they calling him Lance Twiggy?
I don't know. I feel gay calling him Twiggy, to be honest with you. That's why I don't call him
that should be appropriate. He was a furry. But in all seriousness, when you say the phone dump was produced,
yeah,
what does that actually mean? Because half this app, thinks, and you just heard,
yeah.
I mean, half this app thinks that Cellbrite is just this vibe, and the other half thinks it's sitting in Langley, which is just, it sounds like a conspiracy movie.
Well,
but
it was
they
made by the
actually
Jews.
think that.
It was made by the Jews, so
correct.
That's all you really need to know. Look,
the
for
Jews.
So for people that don't know what Cellbrite is, basically what it's going to do is they're going to hook a phone up to a computer, and they're essentially cloning that phone. All of the metadata, the GPS, like literally everything that's ever been on that phone, almost anything that was ever they attempted to delete it, that information is there. On top of that, they're going to, which they did, there's search warrants from Apple that has both Lance Twiggs' phone information as well as Tyler Robinson's information. So like the defenses had all of that. A phone is nothing. It's like a phone is simply a folder. It's all the documents you want in the folder. And, they empty that folder out and they put it in another folder, or they copy all those documents. Like the phone is nothing. So while I think it's due diligence that the defense is like, hey, I want to see the cell phone, fine. But that's not what matters. They're gonna have their own experts, and this is one of the things that Andrea Burkhart, I had her on. She's a defense attorney. She talked about this. I talked about this with Rakita Law as well. He's talked about this as well. He's another attorney. Like their own forensic experts have went through that phone.
Is that Todd Rakita?
Yes.
He's great.
He is great. So their own experts, the defense experts, have went through all of that data and they've confirmed it. They're going to be able to see if there was manipulated or, whatever else. So like between the cell phone data, the DNA data, the security footage, both of what they've shown and they haven't shown, like, they have his vehicle there. Like to sit here and pretend that there's not enough evidence to convict this guy beyond a reasonable doubt is it kind of, and that's another thing that really disturbs me too. Like we've turned our own justice system, our own society the fabric of our society, the American society, the idea that, you know, it's no longer that you're innocent until proven guilty. When we're accusing just any and everybody of murder with zero evidence whatsoever, that becomes a real issue too. So there's a lot of things that I think this affects. This affects culture. This affects politics in a major way. You have all these people coming together, and it's not just Candace. I mean, I planned on jumping off of this boat back in December after the Fort Huachuca thing. And then you see Candace dovetailing in with Tucker Carlson and Joe Kent, and now it's a real problem. And then on top of that, you're seeing this mind virus spread. Mish, go ahead.
Gary, just one last thing.
Yeah, Cam, go ahead.
You've got 4 tours and you teach this. You know, if I'm a normal person trying not to get played, what's the bullshit test for the Kirk coverage? If I'm a normal person.
I think it's the same test, and I talk about this all the time. It's the same test because what we've turned to is this default thinking. It's, you know, what has ruined a lot of people was COVID, was the Biden administration that absolutely abused the American people, abused our justice system. And I am just as skeptical of government as I was then, as, you know, still to this day. The bullshit test is, like, we don't trust government, but we sure as hell don't trust podcasters that are financially incentivized to create just fantasy. And the test is, who provides the most evidence? Tangible, real evidence, not thoughts, not feelings, not, you know, I think that, you know, Charlie Kirk was holding a hand mic and was electrocuted, and then he had an exploding mic go off, and you know, then his neck was broken, and then Brian Harpole, or one of the security guys, took a pre-fired bullet and shoved it into the wound. Like, that is speculation on top of speculation with not a single bit of evidence for any of it. So, I mean, that's the BS test. It's just basic logic and reason, and people are void of it. I mean, they have resorted to, you know, we've always had this moral relativity, and now it's become reality relativity, where there's objective things aren't real. And of course, there's the distrust of institutions. I get it, but folks, there's just no way. We'd have to have thousands of people that would be involved at this point in this conspiracy, this cover up. It's just not sustainable. And the last thing I'll say, to me, you know what the biggest piece of evidence that the case against Tyler Robinson is not some grand conspiracy is the fact that they didn't fake the easiest piece of evidence, and that was the ballistics test on the round that was recovered from Charlie Kirk. If they were going to do all of this, all they had to do is shoot a bullet into some gel, to a holding tank, and then, like, we got the bullet. It matches perfectly. Case closed, done. But no, we have an inconclusive test on the recovered fragments. That was the one piece that we couldn't fake. That's crazy to me. The good woman, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, when Cam mentioned that, you know, if the biggest problem in America is, you know, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, then it's a good day. I'm like, what I like most about this Gary and everyone exposing Candace Owens is that, I mean, she's touting that she has 6 million, you know, subscribers, and she has 7 million on X. That's a lot of eyeballs, because there's a lot of people that follow her because of her following. She must be saying something right if there's that many people following her. But Gary and Charlie, they both are following what the people were most talking about. Because if you're saying to talk about the border, people are bored with that subject at this point, now that Trump's in office. If you're talking about the economy, people run away from that topic as well. When you follow what's popular, then you do get to insert those other topics within that. Then you do get to insert the propaganda war that we are in right now, that we are being attacked from all sides, whether that be religious or whether that be influencers getting extra views from bot farms in Russia. Like, and I put on the purple pill, like, just as a reminder, the SPEEF conference forum thing that Candace spoke at, and the topics that were proliferated through the entire event for those days was information war, was how to take down the West with information, So that is the number one issue. So that's why we need to follow who's the loudest voice that's speaking the propaganda and the lies. We do need to expose that. It is the most important thing in America right now, because that's where the youth in our future, that's where they are listening. That's what they're consuming for entertainment. So we can't sit there and try and focus on, yes, it's more important to close on the border, but what is upstream of that? It's the information that has told people not to worry about the border. It's the information that has told people that Islam is not a problem for America. So that's what I came to say, because my blood was boiling when Cam said that. I'm like, what do you mean it's not important? It's like, it's what Charlie did. That's why they told him that it's not important to go to college campuses, but he did it.
No, just to clarify, I wasn't saying it's not important.
No, yeah, I'm saying
I was saying let's put it into perspective.
Well, yeah, and I'm saying for me, in my perspective, it is more important simply because of the eyeballs. Because the same as a business, it doesn't matter if you have your open sign on the front of your door at your business. If you're not on social media and they don't know you exist, you're not getting anyone walking in the door. The same with this.
Yeah, but I never said it was not important. It's very important, but let's put it into our perspective, folks.
Yeah,
we still have God and country. We have God, country, and our families. That's what's important. I can agree with that. That's what's important. We have to thank our lucky stars and God every day. But we do have, and a lot of these people that wake up every day and refresh their phones for what the ilk like Stu Peters and, Coleman and Cancer Owens say, they don't have those things. They don't have those wonderful things to look forward to. They don't have friends and colleagues and family to look forward to.
Real quick, just in case Joseph is still down there listening or something else, and just for the clarification of anybody else,
those materials have not yet been provided, but
I want to play this.
Yes, Your Honor. My report at the last hearing is the latest report. As of June 18th, we had provided approximately 100% of the material in our possession. Over the last week, we have received additional materials from SBI due to preparation for this hearing. Those materials have not yet been provided, but they will be as soon as this hearing is complete.
All right, so that is from the prosecuting attorney, and he's given a report of what he has turned over to the defense. And I do have a document in here where it clearly states that all of the electronic evidence has been turned over to the defense as of March. It's either March 13th or March 18th. So, and that includes the cell phone data. So take that for what it is. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there.
And the metadata.
Yes. All of the Cellbrite information, the Cellbrite extraction.
That's the metadata.
I'm sorry.
So anybody who says that, oh, the metadata hasn't been, that is the metadata, that is the location data.
Well, it's not. So metadata is actually nondescript information that actually nobody cares about. That's a misnomer in itself. It's all the data on the phone, not metadata. It is the hard data, the actual locations. Metadata is what, they're getting off the internet, like the non-personalized information that your phone is putting out all the time and you're getting from cookies and things like that. This is the actual data, the call logs, the text messages, the locations, the searches, all of that information. Metadata is actually not a really good term to use in that regard. Devonna, you've been waiting patiently. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving me a few minutes here, Gary. I appreciate it. Hey, I just, if Joe is still listening, I just want to personalize this. Gary, I'm going to do that. I'm a mom of a TPUSA lower management staff member. It's personal. And today I was searching for the right puppy to train for protection for my child who works for TPUSA because of the credible death threats that he receives. I don't know if it's daily, but it's at least weekly. They're getting more vile. They're getting more scary. And as a mom, I just want you to know it's personal. There are people being affected by the rhetoric, by the lies. And when I stood in that memorial service, that in that arena, I'm a minister to children. I've been in ministry for 45 years. And my husband and I have said we've never experienced anything like that in our lives in all these years of ministry. And when that was over, and within days, the kidnapping, whatever you want to call it, of what happened there by certain people, especially one in particular person. And we've said her name multiple times. I can barely speak it because it affects me personally. But when it was hijacked, none of us, I don't think anybody expected this. And this is affecting the staff members, of course, the Kirk family, especially Erica and the two babies. It is personal. And so Gary and the rest of you that fight this every day, I watch you and you know how much I appreciate you. Thank you. When some of the quote unquote friends never spoke up and still haven't, you are out there fighting the lies, and it is necessary. And for me, it's number one priority right now. I do care about all of those other issues. But right now, I just hope to God I don't get a phone call that my son's been killed. His car was already stolen. They've already possibly linked it to the attacks on him, because when they took his car, it was two guys that literally walked up 4 garage stories and got to his car and took it, and it was gone for 2 months, and they didn't steal anything. They just damaged it, and it was found, but they think it's connected. Cops think it's connected. So it's personal and it hurts. And so I just want to say that. And I just want to say one more cool thing, if I can. It's going a little bit backwards here, but about Pete Hedgeseth. I had the privilege of meeting the new head chaplain for Camp Pendleton and 29 Palms yesterday. Great, really sweet man, young man. And I'm not sure if everyone's aware what Pete has done, but he has revamped the entire chaplaincy program in our military. And it's amazing. So when I was talking to the chaplain, I said, well, do you mind if I ask what rank you are? And he said, well, to be honest with you, Pete has removed the rank from chaplains like it used to be, so that we can actually be pastors and we can actually be shepherds and we can take care of our military families rather than focusing on our ranks. He goes, I am a lieutenant, but really in the big scheme of things right now, that doesn't matter. So I thought that was a really cool, another thing that we're winning in. That was another thing that was hijacked. Our chaplaincy program, I don't know if you're all aware, it went so dark for so many years in the Obama administration and the Biden administration. And now it's being back into what it's supposed to be. So I just want to thank you all again. And really, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. And you're right. Like the other part of, like, folks, is if they can do this to everyone that he's done it to, because it's not just Candace Owens and TPUSA and Brian Harpole, and I mean, if they can just go and destroy lives like this and nobody fights back, man, that's not an America that I want. I mean, this is, you get accused of something horrific, and then you have these citizens that have no authority whatsoever, extorting you to empty your pockets. It's I mean, look, even Stu Peters himself, this was the whole thing. He's like, I want to know where Jeff Blake was, and he has to answer to me or else. I mean, that's the implication there. Like, why would he answer to you, Stu? Why would he tell you anything? If you have a concern, go file a police report. And guess what? Somebody that has been granted the authority of the American people, not you, not some freaking pod slopper, not some freaking grifter, can go and ask them questions with some sort of legal authority, and you have none. We don't grant that. Like, not even the police can do that without a warrant. Why the hell would we think that these people with a podcast can do that? It's insane. Go ahead, Rando Cat.
Hey,
Hold on,
just a
Cam.
real one for a second.
Hold on, Cam. I'll
Just
come back.
'cause
I'll come back to you. Rando Cat had his hand up first. Rando Cat. Rando Cat. All right, Cam, go.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, this isn't towards you, Cam. I know you're operating in good faith and all that. But yeah, I don't get the fascination with your fact checking and calling out Candace. Like it comes off as a narrative to try to have Candace and Barron spout their influencing rhetoric unchecked. Like it boggles my mind. It's just like a coordinated front to get you to stop talking about them and stuff like that. And then also on top of that, to Cam's point, I mean, she is influencing like US and foreign policies and stuff like that to her viewers. And this has been highlighted by others and stuff like that. And I also agree with Cam that like there's other issues and stuff like that, but you know, we all have knowledge in certain subjects or whatnot. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just where the focus is, where our heart is, and stuff like that. But that's just my 2 cents.
Nope. Great points. Cam, go ahead.
Thank you, Rando Cat, and thank you, Gary. And just a real one for a second, and then I'm done. Devana just said it about her son. That's the whole pitch. Your address, your phone, your relatives, something.
You cut out on us, Cam. Or is it Cam or me?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep. Sorry. Okay. I didn't know if my audio or you. Yep. You cut out. Your
Okay.
address.
Did you
your
hear
phones.
anything I said?
I heard address and phones, and then you cut out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes even your kids' names are sitting on a data broker site, basically just like a retail product. So nobody even has to hack you. They buy it. So if you're in those Erica 92 groups, you already know this isn't theoretical. A list of names and handles is a shopping list. So Gary and Obscure Mod and I have been doxxed, have been targeted. Many of us in that group use Delete Me. There's also some other good ones. I'm not gonna do an ad read. There's some other good ones on there as well, but you can DM me. I've got a code. It's the same as last time, and I'll send it. You should do your spouse too. Do your kids' names if they're on.
Just
that's the
you
part
know what?
that
If you
people
got a
skip.
link, just post it up in the Jumbotron, Cam.
Yeah, for sure. I will. And but just DM me because there's a discount for you and there's a small credit for me, and just wanted that up front. So and then just set a 6-month reminder because the brokers do come back. And then Devana, I am going to message you because of what you said about your son. I don't want this to be a money thing. I'm going to send you a link, and for you, I'm going to do 30% off because if the code doesn't get you there, tell me and I'll cover the difference. So I'm very sorry that's happening. And then as far as Rando Cat, I just wanted to say I did not say that Gary should ignore Candace and Coleman. I said that they're not the 2 biggest problems in America. Gary can talk about whoever he wants. The point was 2 podcasters are not the border, the debt, and fentanyl. That's all I said.
Yeah, no, fair. I think it was Thomas. You were up. Somebody's peeing.
Hey,
Please
thanks,
mute.
Gary. Thanks, Gary, for letting me come up. Just real quick, some bona fides before I say what I'm going to say. I've been in the intelligence community, either in the military or at the national security level since 2009. I've been in the military since 1987. I've got 6 MOSs. I'm a professional firearms instructor. I've been paying very close attention. It breaks my heart what happened with Charlie Kirk. We literally dodged a bullet with the attempted assassinations on Donald Trump a couple of times. Like literally by the grace of God, he was not assassinated on international television, because I can't imagine what that would have done to our country and really to the world. With regard to the whole Charlie Kirk thing, the Tyler Robinson thing, and I deployed with 3rd and 7th Special Forces Group. I'd be curious, Gary, what group you were with, but
I was with first group.
The bottom line, guys, is this: we have nothing but admissions from Tyler Robinson and from his lover and from his family and all these things, and then we run into this problem with like somebody like Candace Owens, who literally is nothing but a person who makes money off of talking on the internet. And I think that this is sort of the problem we're facing as a country right now, that some of these people get traction just saying the most outlandish things. And then if you saw the recent debate, which I'm assuming many of the people in here have seen, at the very least, snippets of that debate, where she has no evidence. It's just all things that she believes, or things that she wants to believe, or things that she heard from somebody, and there's no evidence. And yet we run into people like Joe who believe it without any factual evidence whatsoever. My current MOS, I'm still in the reserves, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the military or the government or anything, and it purely as a private citizen, but as somebody who is trained in human collection, human targeting, signals collection, analysis. I've used Cellbrite to exploit terrorist cell phones. Personally, everything Gary is saying right now about the concrete evidence regarding what has been provided, and laymen don't typically understand what it means when you say evidence. They think that means just like something somebody said. In order for something to be classified as evidence, it has to be indisputable fact. And so a Cellbrite exploitation of the phone that would include the text messages, the geo coordinates of photos, that would be everything from within the phone has been provided to the defense, proving that Tyler Robinson did this. And the photographs of the letters that he wrote, that he put under the laptop keyboard or under the keyboard, and all these things are indisputable evidence of the fact that this guy killed Charlie Kirk. Now, where I want to land on this is I actually served as the senior intelligence collection strategist for domestic extremism at the ODNI in the National Counterterrorism Center. And I know that that's a mouthful, but basically what that means is that I had access to everything the FBI has, everything the CIA has, everything NSA has, everything the Bureau of Prisons has, etc., on domestic extremism in the United States. And so one of the things that I have been trying to argue within the intelligence community for many, many years is that, to a great extent, what the FBI labeled domestic extremism is actually mental health. And I've been arguing that for, at least since probably about 2000, maybe 2015, 2016 timeframe, that what the FBI calls domestic extremism, this is all the school shootings, This is the to a great extent, even like the Pulse nightclub shooting. These things are mental health problems that are perpetrated by people who simply want to have some purpose in their life. Most of them, I would say 99% of them, are carried out by people who literally know that their life has absolutely no meaning in and of itself. And if they kill somebody or they assassinate somebody important, that then their life will have meaning. And I think that the Tyler Robinson case is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It is a perfect case study in you have somebody who had a meaningless life that would have never been anybody. Nobody would have ever even known Tyler Robinson ever even existed, except for the fact that he was going to go and kill some arch nemesis of his lover, who was against transgenderism and against the furries and was advocating for morality in society. And I think that the reason I say this, and I love jumping into these spaces and kind of trying to provide this sort of understanding, because there are thousands, maybe there are tens of thousands of citizens in the United States that are suffering from mental health situations. And because of social media, they can become somebody instantly. They can become famous people. And they would otherwise have a meaningless life. I studied Lee Harvey Oswald. I actually did a play called Assassins many years ago, and that's where I started thinking about this stuff. Lee Harvey Oswald literally was involved potentially in the assassination of a president because of a very simple thing. And that is, he could be somebody. He was a nobody, and he could be somebody if he carried out an assassination. And there's a line in the play that I think is very, very poignant, and I'll land here. What was the name of the guy who killed Julius Caesar? What was the name of the guy who supposedly killed Julius Caesar? Can anybody answer that?
No, I don't remember. I mean,
Brutus.
What was it?
Brutus. Brutus supposedly killed Julius Caesar. And there's a line in the play that says, you mean to tell me a guy with a 25-cent an hour job knows the name of the guy who killed a Roman emperor 2,000 years ago? And that's really what this is about. This is about people with meaningless lives who are suffering from mental health crisis, wanting to become somebody in the annals of history. And that's really what we're dealing with Tyler Robinson. And we've got to be careful that we don't glorify what Tyler.
I think we lost you, Tom. Yeah, so I do want to address that. I mean, that is the problem. One of the things that I'm pretty disgusted about.
The advantage of the hyperbolic political rhetoric, and that's exactly what's going on with Candace Owens.
Yeah,
she's going to become famous by arguing that it was the Jews that did it or whatever. She doesn't have to have any evidence.
Yeah.
She just wants clicks and she just wants money. It's not about the truth. And the truth is going to be determined in the court case. And I'll just land there by saying, Gary, thank you for hosting this space. And I only get into spaces that have some sort of salience. I try and just skip over all of the bullshit. And this, I think, is a fantastic space where we're talking about the real issue, which is people making money off of this aggrandizement of violence on all sides of it. And we've got to be careful that we don't play into it.
Yeah, look, that's one of the things that I'm most disgusted about this is the fact that we have so many of these people that are literally out there saying that Tyler Robinson is not guilty. He's just a patsy, and that's where this. And look, my problem with this is not that people are making money off of this. That's not. Again, what I see this is a much more systemic issue of not only now but in the future. You were talking about the fact that, Tom, that you were in intelligence. We understand the power of informational warfare, and that's what we have. We have informational warfare on steroids right now. And I do think, I've talked about this before, I think one of the reasons that this is so effective is early on somebody saw how this can actually be used, and that it started to snowball. And I think that this is one of the first times that we're seeing that Iran, China, Russia, and all our other enemies, I think they're working in concert. I think they're, saying, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do the narrative. We're going to do the bots of this. Like, I really do. And I think they're seizing upon this opportunity. And it's not what we have now. Again, Candace is a mascot. This is a war, fifth generational warfare. That's what I'm really fighting. It's not Candace. It's not Barron. They just happen to be,
Yeah, and I think you're thank you for reminding me of that. I think that one of the things, and I worked counterintelligence for a long time. What people don't understand is that there are whole organizations. This hopefully for the audience will help people understand this. There are whole organizations in Russia, hundreds of people that are professionally trained in manipulation. And there are hundreds, maybe thousands of people in China and hundreds of people in Iran that are literally focused on identifying influencers, no matter how subtle they are, to try and amplify their voices to sow chaos and confusion. And that's really what they want. They want to sow chaos and confusion among the United States electorate to bring us down from within. There's a great video of a guy named Yuri Bezmenov, who was a KGB defector.
Yeah, I've actually played Yuri Bezmenov's testimony on here before. And
it's fantastic.
Yeah, and then
he basically says ideological subversion is their whole objective.
100%. And then on top of that, you add in AI and the capabilities there, and like you add that in the mix, and that's what we're seeing, folks. Again, on one computer they can have like 50,000 accounts, and with AI, it's indistinguishable. It's indistinguishable from real humans. I mean, you can still distinguish a lot of what's going out there, but I'm saying they do have that capability. I do want to get Skinny Tux in here. Skinny, go ahead. I think you hot mic peeing earlier, Skinny. Just saying. It's okay. We don't judge you. We don't judge. We've all been there.
There you go. Mic's on. Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Okay. It's Skinny too, and my nickname's Skinny. That's why I have that handle. I'm new to X. I've been on here a couple years. I don't have that many followers, but today Stu Peters, that's the reason I came in this space, because it said Stu Peters. He posted a receipt from the restaurant. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Are you talking about the actual receipt or the AI generated on the thumbnail receipt?
I don't know. It's fake, whatever. AI, I don't know. Where he highlighted Tyler Robinson's name.
Yes.
Anyways, and then Diligent posted a different one. So Stu Peters is saying he was on Kick today, which I've never been on, and they're saying that people are freaking out about the receipt. So I got a copy, or I went to their menu and got the actual prices. So they didn't even get that right. And I actually called the restaurant and got the actual prices. So I just want to say Stu Peters is full of shit. Excuse my language. And Diligent is, when I first came on here, he's a weird dude. He's really weird. He said he has no real friends in real life. and he had a furry friend named Roz, and he's just a weird dude, but he blocked me because we kind of had it out one day.
I mean,
'Cause I
isn't
had
that a weird
pictures of-
phenomenon here on X where you have someone like Project Constitution, the booger eating Project Constitution, and Diligent Denizen, and these are the people that have like 250,000 followers? I just find it
Right. I've been on here for 2 years and I have nobody, and I try to get people to follow me. You know, I have some good followers. I mean, people that I interact with, and I don't even care about that.
sure.
You know, honestly, I've listened to your space quite a few times. I follow you, but Diligent. What happened between us is when I first started, you know, getting into it, I was listening to his spaces. So then I had gotten some pictures of him and his furry friend,
Yeah.
but I don't have them anymore.
Which that guy was arrested
And I was
for.
asking him if he condoned that, because they're weird pictures. I mean, really weird.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the ball in your mouth and the leather straps, you know, it's a dude. And then the dressing up is the furry. And so that's why he blocked me, because I posted about 4 or 5 pictures. So I can't ever say anything to him. But I just wanted to say that Stu is full of crap. And thanks for letting me talk, Gary. I
Yeah, no
really
problem.
appreciate it. And you do a great job, and I love listening to you. And everybody have a great night.
Thank you very much. Hey, real quick, I got a super
All
chat on YouTube. I just want to hit real quick. It's Right Wing Nuts says, tell that Joe dude, I heard they sell tampons at Walmart. The MFer got his mind made up. So damn emotional. It is, you know, it is. Look, I've said this before. I started to mention it to him. Look, if I will tell you right now, if come the trial, the parents come out and testify, which by the way, they have them on video doing this too, by the way. But if they would have come out and testify, and it comes to find out that like everything that the account of them essentially saying that our son is guilty, you know, their entire account of what we have in the charging documents, which was also used as in the probable cause affidavit for arrest. If that comes out to be not true, I'm on team freaking conspiracy theory. I'm going to come on and be like, guys, I was wrong the whole time. I'm telling you, because that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And it's also the reason that we've never heard the parents contest any of this stuff. There's no chance. There's no, like the Penguich steakhouse receipt is so dumb. Like, again, they have all of the cell phone data, folks. They know where he was, what he wasn't.
Right. And I've worked in restaurants for over 35 years. There's no way in hell that Diligent could get a receipt. There's no way. There's no way he could get that receipt.
So Skinny, I've actually talked to the owner of that restaurant on the phone multiple times.
Yes, I think I heard that. Yeah.
I actually am erring on that receipt is a real receipt. I doubt. I'm most certain that is not Tyler Robinson, and by their own account, right? So by their own account, they have the eyewitness. The eyewitness says that he saw them there and he ate a steak and a couple of beers.
Nah.
And then on top of
I don't believe that.
Well, regardless, the eyewitness says that's what he says. He said ate a steak and a couple of beers. The receipt says a steak and a soda. So by their own account.
But let me interrupt you real quick there. Do you know how many people you see a night at a restaurant?
No,
and how many people go in and out? So you know your regular customers by sight.
Yes.
You don't know people that just came in and sat quietly and had a steak and a soda or a couple beers. That is absolutely impossible. And I worked in a steakhouse for 12 years. A very famous steak. Well, not famous, but it was to where I lived.
Sure.
In a steakhouse. So I don't believe any of that.
Yeah,
I used to love Candace Owens. I really did. when she was with Charlie on the road. But once she started this, I can't even stand the sound of her voice. And I just despise that woman. I just wish evil upon her. And I hate to say that, but I do, because she's doing it just for the money. And to say that her and Charlie were best friends, why didn't she go to the funeral? Why wasn't she at the preliminary hearing? Why wasn't she at his wedding? You know, I have all these questions, but I'll never get an answer. One more thing I'm going to say. When is the trial going to start? Do you have any idea?
Everybody that I've talked to, as far as lawyers, we're looking 18 to 24 months.
Oh, no, not that long.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thanks for letting me speak. And
No problem.
put
No
my,
problem.
my 5 cents in.
Good deal. Cam, did you have another question? Or was your hand up from earlier, or another statement?
Yes,
everybody-
Gary.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again. So, honest conversations, that shape history. Brother, it's midnight now on a Thursday. So history is asleep. It's just between us here. Between the late night hosting, the citizen journalist thing, and whatever alter egos we're running in the background, I mean, you've got more lore than the CIA. If Beijing has an officer assigned to monitor this space, that guy is having a breakdown trying to write the profile. So I'm just saying. So
Cam, have you had a few drinks tonight?
maybe one.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to breathalyze you.
Well,
it's only two,
one.
officer. It's only two. No, I hear
No,
you.
just one, and it was a double. But that's it. But in all seriousness,
the goalposts are moving.
but in all seriousness, I mean, everybody talks about Russia, China, and Iran like it's 4D chess, right? And it's like it's a group project though, where nobody does the work. And I was just at a briefing the other day, and it was put to me in probably the clearest terms that I've ever heard it. And it was that China sends the hardware, Russia runs cover and repeatedly fed Iran targeting info and better drone navigation, and then Iran takes the actual punch. So basically, China sends the hardware, Russia runs cover and feeds Iran the targeting info and the navigation, and then Iran takes the actual punch. So that's not an axis of strength if you think about it. That's three guys, it's three amigos just hoping somebody else swings first. And then, then you've got Denizen, right? Hosting conversations that shape history. It's the most competent bio on this platform. Not participating is shaping. I mean, brother, it's 12:04 now on a Thursday, and we're talking about bots. And if Beijing really is running ops here, there's an analyst somewhere whose whole job is listening to your spaces, and I just want him to know, I'm sorry. Okay? You did not, whatever your name is, you did not deserve that.
I'm feeling pretty insulted right now, Cam.
I know. But do you want real intrigue? And I'm very serious right now. Like, I'm as serious as a heart attack. Iran has a supreme leader that nobody's seen. Moshtaba, he took over in March after his father got killed. And since then, no photograph, no audio, no video. Have you seen a verified signature?
No.
Statements come from his office. Hegseth said publicly he's wounded and likely disfigured. A Baj deputy promised footage back in August, and it still hasn't shown up. So that's a little interesting. And then the third supreme leader in the history of the Islamic Republic might just be a letterhead. Think
Well,
about that.
Yeah. I think it's very, very possible.
And then CBS reported intel briefed Trump that the old man never wanted his son to have it. He didn't think he was bright. He knew that he had issues in his personal life. You know, issues now in a super Shia Islamic Republic fundamentalist regime that throws gays off buildings. You could only imagine what issues in your personal life might mean.
Sure.
So then the Post reported what intelligence believes these issues were. Now, I'm not stating it as fact because agencies, at least, not publicly, have no photographic evidence, and other outlets say the whole thing was cooked. But notice the standard. This is a regime that flogged a provincial morality chief 100 lashes for a leaked tape.
Yeah.
So it isn't a moral order. It's a protection racket with a turban on it. I mean, this is a joke. So anyways, Russia's broke thanks to Trump's sanctions. China's playing a longer game than our attention span and has been since the 80s, especially on critical minerals. Iran's supreme leader may not physically exist. They were always talking about the Zionist entity. Well, now we have a supreme leader entity, and we're over here arguing about podcasts. So, look, I think we're doing pretty well here. And
that's the message tonight. We're doing great things here in America. We are a better country for it, for the Trump administration for sure. But yeah, doing great things.
But look, we've got to keep our eye on the real ball. That there are bots here, and there are captured foreign intelligence agents that are paid big dollars, a lot more than $300,000 per year, per month, per day. And these are run through shell companies. These are run through shell LLCs that have, and what a shell LLC means is that, not even the most shrewd forensic accountant could chase where the money comes from.
Yes, indeed. All right, Cam, I'm going to get, because I want to go to bed before too long here, but we got a few other people in the queue, and I want to throw some of them up. I had, Bella, go ahead. Everybody try to keep this succinct, short. 2 minutes. Everybody got 2 minutes. I'm going to cut you off for 2 minutes. Go, Bella.
I know. I'm 3 hours behind you guys, so I was in and out. But I just heard skinny, Gary. So I just wanted to, I don't know if you guys are aware that when Elon took over X a couple of years ago, and the old monetization program was just getting started. This is in regards to Diligent. I don't know if you guys know a little bit of the history about him. Is that I used to go into a lot more of the spaces in the last 2 years ago, and he was really small, and he was not the person that he is today that I knew, but he does have a trans child. So I don't know if people are aware, and the things that I've heard now is that he's kind of like into all that, but I just wanted to kind of briefly, if people understood that Diligence become a far different person for the worse in the last couple of years when I first met him. And then also on the second one, I heard earlier about you guys talking about China, and Bree was talking. I mean, China's been influencing us for a very long, long time. Like Obama, during Obama, we had the biggest breach of our security because China hacked us, and nobody was paying attention back then. I'm in IT, and that's when we were starting the EMR, the meaningful use, and transitioning to it. And we had a lot of breaches because of that. So, and also China took over a lot of the debt. Our debt, is foreign. Like most of the foreign countries control, we owe them money because our deficit is like ballooning like crazy.
China owns us.
Yeah, that's why you see all the media and all that. That's just how it is. Our debt is owned by multiple foreign right now. So I don't know how we're going to control that. I also heard you guys talking about like we do need a plan. I don't feel comfortable with like how the GOP is going. At what's going to happen after Trump? He's a lame duck. That's it. Is it going to be Rubio?
Well,
is it going to be?
He won't be a lame duck if we win the midterms, and I'm still optimistic that we can. I really do. We've been told that we've been told time and time again. I thought for sure that Massey was going to win. I thought Fishback was going to win, and these people just got crushed. So I haven't bought into that we're going to lose the midterms.
Oh no, I wasn't good. I am fighting hard to make sure that on here on X. I agree with you, Gary. I don't think that we can because we still have Trump here. But I also understanding like everything is about timing, Gary. In my world, what I've always seen. And I just think that we need to also watch the timing of what we're doing. Like right now, I think you're voicing a lot of things that we need to start focusing and putting our energy into the midterms.
Agreed.
Candace and those guys, the podcasters, like Cam is saying, they can keep for 2 or 3 months, or
Sure.
what you guys want to do. But midterms here is in November. I think a lot of it, we should be shifting all of our energy into keeping the, Muslim Brotherhood, the jihadists, Michigan. If we maintain Michigan, we have a better chance. And also the GOP conference next month is in Dallas. We need to also save Texas. Elon's putting a lot of money into it because he has a stake in it because he lives there now. And the Ellisons also moved Paramount and they're moving to Texas. And Elon has built the AI data center in Texas. So I think also Elon's been pretty quiet. Like he's putting money and he's working a lot in the background, but I'm not seeing him post a lot.
Yeah.
So, but it's good that he's backing. But I also think that we also need to preserve Texas. I heard also Dexter yesterday, Gary, talking about New York. I think the GOP, they also need to help focus about trying to flip California and New York.
Yes.
If we ever have a chance to preserve the U.S. and save the other states, we need to really work on states that are like so far gone. I think our states are still good to preserve. I still believe in that.
All right, that's one area that I'm not necessarily super optimistic about when it comes to California and New York. I mean, again, this goes back to the 50-year plan, but I couldn't agree more. Blue Sky, go ahead, buddy.
I just wanted to say hi, Gary.
What's happening?
I was listening to Rob Noor debate the Candace cult, and I think if you have an opportunity to listen to it, it was something else.
Rob's awesome.
Yeah, he really is. So just saying hi.
Oh, thanks,
I'll
man.
drop down, buddy.
Thanks, man. Garlic, go ahead.
Hi, Gary.
Hey, how are you?
I've only been in your spaces a few times. Like it actually started with Livelsberger, the Cybertruck Vegas bomber.
Oh yeah.
So that's when I started following you and watching your shows just for background. But then I realized like, oh my God, like I'm a BSR graduate and a bunch of other things, but I'm a little bit older than you. So I was there before you were.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyway, I have like a ton of respect for you and I really enjoyed all of your content up until this. And it's not
Here it
because I'm a
comes.
Candace lover. No, it's not. It's like sometimes I just miss your old content. Do
I
you
miss
see what
doing
I'm
my old
saying?
content. I miss doing my
Like
old
I
content.
really like miss that so much. And like I still listen, like don't think I'm abandoning you or anything, but like I miss the good old days is my point. Because I like to think about like I know I'm a little bit older than you, so I think I was there like 3 years before you, but like anyway, it's the
Well,
glory days.
I was working as a professional instructor out at for the Department of State at BSR starting in the end of 2011.
Yeah, I think I was there in like 2007 or 8. It's
Gotcha.
all a blur. So I missed you. And it wasn't just the BSR, like there was a couple other ones there. And then they had this other one with Navy SEALs that just pissed me the fuck off. And I'm like, I'm never going to those again. Nothing against Navy SEALs, but like they just have different things. And when you're in the Army, I'm an Army veteran. So it's like, you know, the Army way. And then you have like SEALs like, no, you have to do it this way. And I'm like, that's not how you grip a pistol. And they're like, that's how we grip a pistol. Anyway, sorry. Sorry for the rant.
No worries. No
I
worries.
just, my point is, I kind of miss your old shows because
I
like,
can't wait until I don't feel like I need to cover stuff again. I can't wait.
yeah.
I can't wait.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not listening anymore, but like sometimes I'm just like exhausted by it and I just want to get back to the good old Gary days.
You should know how exhausted I am. I promise you, I am.
I do. So, hey, so I did try to bring this up in a space like several months ago, and I'm not saying you have to address it now, but I do want to readdress it because I haven't seen it come up again. And then I want to just briefly talk about your like Brandon Straka walk away thing. I don't know if that was covered earlier in this space, but I thought it was really great and important. So regarding Mitch Snow, and I want to get into all of that. What I want everyone to do, and I tried to tell Nate this too, and he just blew me off. 3 minutes before Candace ever mentioned Mitch Snow's name, she mentioned Bruce Bevins. And I love Bruce. He is a great guy. And I don't know if you or Nate know him. I get that first group has a lot of people and not everyone knows anyone. But I really think that was okay. But go back and watch Candace's the very first episode. The very first. I've told you this before, and I think you just got busy with other things. Go back and watch her episode where she first introduces Mitch. Then rewind 5 minutes. She introduces Bruce in a CrossFit gym. And my only point is you have made a great case against like Mitch Snow and all of his infidelity. But what I'm telling you is I would put however much money you want on that the tip that led to Mitch Snow had to do with that CrossFit gym and Bruce Bevins. I think Mitch has a personal issue with Bruce. That's it.
Got it. No,
and I think you and just rewind it. Just go back to when she first entered. So she's talking about a course at Fort Huachuca, which is like a civilian equivalent of ASOT 3. I wish Thomas Speciale was still here, but he's not. That was taken completely out of context. So what I believe deep down in my heart, because I know those people, is that Mitch had an axe to grind with Bruce. and then that somehow spun into whatever.
Got it.
So I'm gonna let you and the other first group guys sort that out because you know each other. I mean, I know some of you. Again, I like probably 5 years ahead of you. But anyway, I just think that that's worth exploring. Like that is where the narrative and tip seeds are coming from, at least with regard to Mitch Snow. And all of that was wrong. Like I'm happy to talk to you about that on the side. The way Candace portrayed it, at least, it was very skewed and very out of context and very dated. Like she was good. Whatever tip she got was like from 2011. And she was portraying it like it was new.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway, sorry. I just love Bruce, so I want to defend him.
No,
I haven't
no
seen him for a long time, but like he's a good guy, and I'm like 99% convinced that he was probably Mitch Snow's like platoon sergeant, and that is what triggered the rest of the shit.
Got it. Okay.
I know that sounds crazy, but like if we could talk. I don't want to talk about ASAT 3 on this space, so.
Sounds good. That's probably not a good idea. Josh knows you're up, buddy.
Hey, yeah, just real quickly, thank you guys so much for all the great content. Gary, really appreciate you putting on this great show tonight, just keeping it positive. I think that's so important right now. The Candace stuff's fun to troll them and everything, but I mean, it's about run its course, it feels like. Just thank you so much for having this good space, bud.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I do agree, and I hope it has run its course. I don't know if that's quite true. I think there's a lull right now because she's on vacation. But as soon as she comes back, we'll see what's going on. And just like I was telling Garlic, I can't wait. I can't wait, folks. I'm telling you this right now. I can't wait till I don't feel like I need to cover this. We can cover some real.
What I mean by that is,
can we go back to
y'all
the
gotta
walk
cover
away?
it. Yeah, sorry. Y'all got to cover it. Yeah, you got to do it in the videos and stuff. What I mean is, like, they've run out of all of our fans have run out of steam. All you have to do is ask them every single time, what would it take for you to believe that he's guilty? And all they'll ever say is 4K video of him taking the shot. And that's insane that we don't get that in any murder case. That's why that's what I mean by it's taking its course. It's run its course on that part of it. You guys got to keep covering it to counter her craziness, but in real life, it's over. People aren't listening to the craziness anymore.
I don't want to interrupt. I wanted to talk quickly, sorry, about the Brandon Strucker.
Succinctly.
That was really, it was really good, Gary. It's just you made a comment that I've had a lot of people ask me questions about because we have a lot of mutuals.
Okay.
And one of the comments that you made that I think you got cut off and didn't get to explain properly was that you're making less money now because of this than you were before.
Oh.
So I don't know you, but we have mutuals, and I have now people asking me about that. So I would love if you could explain that further from it aired last night. Like when you told, I don't know who it was on the circle.
I did get cut off.
You're actually losing money now. You did get cut off. And I think it's unfortunate you got cut off because now I'm in a position with our 2 or 3 remote Kevin Bacon people, like trying to defend you, and it's difficult.
Yeah. So, number one, our view, let's just talk about it from a social media standpoint. And I knew this was going to happen and I didn't care. We were averaging somewhere around 3 to 4 million views per month at December. And then December 6th is when I dropped the first Candace video criticizing Candace, which was strictly like, there was no ad hom. It was just strictly, here's where she lied. And this is what's going on, folks. So we're now down to about 500,000 views. All right. I had 286,000 thereabouts subscribers then. And we have 286,000 subscribers now. So we've made 0 gains when I was gaining 3,000 to 4,000 viewers per month. And quite frankly, I mean, it was less of a hit than I thought I was going to take, given that I literally thought I was going to lose 150,000 viewers. I knew there was a lot of crossover. So there's that point. Number 2, look, I have dedicated a lot of time on this away from my business. And we're, growing at around 30-40%. And we've easily lost, $1 million in revenue from last year to this year in comparison. So, because I think it's that important. So no, this is doing nothing but costing me. I don't think people really understand how much it's costing me, and nobody's paying me. Nobody's giving me any money. So that's where it's at. And so yeah, I mean, we've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. So I mean, that's what sustained the business was, constantly doing gear reviews and doing gun content, and that's still what's paying for this. That's what pays my bills. YouTube doesn't pay my bills. Social media doesn't pay my bills. We're not making enough money on here to pay anything. So I mean, you guys can go to Social Blade and see our views. They're the only money that we kind of make is on YouTube, and it's at 400,000, around 400 to 500,000, somewhere around there, between 300 and 500,000. But I think we're on the way back up. We've shed as many people as we've gained, and we seem to be making progress in that regard. So I mean, this has not been beneficial to me whatsoever. So there's that. Mid-grade, go ahead, buddy.
Hey man, I know it's a late night, so I'll try to get through this quick. And
Yeah.
I apologize and catch the space earlier, so if this is redundant, I'm sorry. But yeah, I shared a good article. This was from June by Network Contagion that just deals with the foreign influence campaign in particular. And so essentially what's happening is that we've got these foreign seeders that are just rapidly injecting and amplifying narratives during moments of crisis. And even though this is outdated information, we can kind of use the metrics to apply it to the Charlie Kirk situation. So in that situation, there were roughly 4 million interactions, which equates to roughly 400 million impressions. Okay. And essentially what these networks were doing, I mean, they were like 25% of them were bots, okay, of all these metrics. And essentially, there were also, these same networks were, smearing Trump with Epstein and like pedophilia claims. So, it's also something that we're going to, continue to hear these narratives pushed, because at the end of the day, this is all political. This is a subversion of the Republican Party, of the MAGA base. It's 100% inorganic in nature, but it can have the ability to influence minds, which is the whole point of this. And, a lot of this is coming from Iran, Russia, as far as this study. But, we can kind of think of it like, we are in this fifth generational warfare situation with these countries. We're not, at kinetic war at this point, and hopefully it stays that way. But it is important for people to understand that,
it's psychological warfare.
Absolutely, 100%. So, and we can even look at like the timeline as well, just from the Charlie Kirk situation. I mean, we've got, August 13th, 2025, we got the Harrison Smith tweet where he's saying he's been given, information where Charlie received a text that Israel was trying to kill him. Now, was that disinformation? I mean, we haven't seen any evidence of this. We've actually seen the opposite, saying he was worried about the left trying to kill him. So was that planted, for Harrison? Like, we don't know, but it could be likely. September 10th, the day Charlie was assassinated, we've got Jackson Hinkle, the leader of the American Communist Party. He's got over 20 million impressions right there in just 3 posts, okay, pointing the finger at Israel. And those were from September 10th to the 11th. September 10th, we also had Elizabeth Lane, which is just so happened to be at Utah Valley Hospital.
Hey, mid-grade, do you have this? Where did you say this was posted? I was trying to post it up in the Jumbotron.
Oh, yeah, they're in the X-Base chat, the Purple Pill.
Gotcha. All right. Keep going. I was just wanting to get that posted.
Yeah, you're good. And then, so September 11th, we've got Ian Carroll pointing the finger at Israel. We've got Jason Shirka pointing, fingers at Israel. Even so much as talking about like him dying by the necklace, which is just really weird. For the day after he dies, like it's just such a weird theory to espouse the day afterwards. But and then we've got September 12th. We've got Elizabeth Lane on Kim Iverson saying Israel probably did it. And she says, I don't believe it was Tyler. These are direct quotes. This was a question from Kim, who says, "Why do you keep pointing at Lance Twiggs? Do you suspect him?" And Elizabeth Lane says, "Absolutely." Another question from Kim: "Many people suspect foreign involvement, particularly Israel. What do you think of that?" Elizabeth Lane: "I believe that is correct." And so she's essentially implying here that Lance Twiggs was pushed, influenced, radicalized by Israel, and was actually the culprit in the murder, most likely. And then later in September, we also have this 4chan post that I just happened to archive at the time. That was basically, I see it as disinformation, which was a post because, I've studied psyops for a long time, and 4chan is kind of a great way to fuel these things initially. I mean, this is how QAnon started, for instance. And in this post, I mean, they're going on about Lance Twiggs and his Discord handle having 8200 in his username, and that 8200 being linked to this Israeli military group. But if you actually look at the information on that, I mean, that username in particular, it's not something that was chosen by Lance. This is just automatically created through Discord. So it definitely seems like it could be disinformation potentially, so, but what we do know for absolute certain is that there is this very, huge inorganic effort to somehow tie Israel to the death of Charlie Kirk. And it's just, quite frankly, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. And what you're not mentioning there is the flood of misinformation that started happening September 11th. We had palm guns, we had Bushman shooter. This stuff was not organic. The way that it was thrown out there, just like a fire hose of all this ridiculous things, the iPhone gun, all of these things were just thrown. I was just taken aback because I'd seen a little bit of that at the Butler. A lot of that was going on, but not at the scale and quantity that it was happening with Charlie Kirk. And I think that was to undermine the legitimate investigation to begin with. It started narrative shaping right away. It started manipulating people to what, okay, they wanted to turn this into a conspiracy right at the beginning. And I was open to it, okay, let's see where this goes. But, as we continue to go through and just through, obviously debunking all of the nonsense and that was the other thing too, is I remember by September 11th, that was when the palm gun thing came out, and I debunked that by that evening. And then, or maybe it was the 12th that I put that video out. And I remember just a flood of things saying, I'm a Fed in my comments. What? No, there's no muzzle flash. There's no recoil. There's the energy that was dumped on Charlie was not from a small caliber palm gun. This is ridiculous. So there's a lot going on there. And I think a lot of things converged on this to create what we currently have. And I think that's forgotten by a lot of people too. Did you have anything else, Midgray?
Yeah, and also, we've got this this constant narrative being pushed out that from the likes of people like Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Stu Peters. That they're trying to bring the left and the right together. And it's, we had this leaked Project Constitution text exchange with Billy Webb that basically describes, them working with Z Cohen Sanchez from the Unfuck America tour, right?
And Act Blue.
And so which is Act Blue, basically, right? So Andrew was spot on Joe Rogan there. So we have evidence of this. Ian Carroll himself even kind of confirmed this, in that if you go into that thread and see his comments there, we've got so there is definitely a coordinated effort, to try to push this, what is probably likely going to be a Massey, Tucker Carlson type party situation, mean, it's very obvious to me, but I hope that people really see through the fog of war here and understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Because, our country is at stake.
100%. No, and that's what I've been saying since January. As soon as I saw Tucker coming in, I'm like, this is Project 2032. That's what they're going for, folks. They want to make sure that President Trump loses the midterms, GOP loses 2028, Democrats come in, and you have this subversive party, this third party that attempts to come in and, destroy, usurp essentially MAGA with this isolation, extreme isolationism and decoupling from Israel. That's what's at stake. Never mind losing 2028, but none of that's going to work. A third party would not work. So what you have to come to realize is like, this is a product of our enemies and the left. And I think I just repeated myself. So that's what's happening there.
Hey, Gary, I just wanted to add real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's no reason to believe that the FBI and any even foreign intel investigations aren't looking at those messages that kind of said, hey, this, be on the lookout for Charlie getting killed.
No, as a matter of fact, we have,
and those armed queers and all those guys, and they'd want to see Tyler Robinson get convicted first because you want the crime first and then the conspirators after.
Well,
it's just common sense.
Well, I think that's speculation. What we do know is that there is confirmation. Jane Doe was just down in here, and now she as soon as I was gonna not necessarily call on her, but shout her out a little bit. She just released some additional search warrants that were specifically for Discord, and some of the people that were in the Discord chat and some of the people that actually sent out some of those tweets. So that is being investigated, and that was announced, a few weeks after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So I mean,
there's no reason to believe that that's not being investigated, but people act like it's not being.
Now, look, I don't know if that's going to, just because that let's say we find out 100% that happened, and we know that there was some influence operations going on there, some idea that he was ultimately targeted and radicalized online. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in any sort of convictions with those. Those people could be in a different country. I mean, that could be an algorithm that they're actually investigating right now. Hopefully some of that information will come out, and I do believe that is a very, I'm 50-50 with it. Look, like the idea that we can't have some crazy 22-year-old kid that got caught up in whatever he got caught up in. I mean, there's just a lot of people that are out there that don't think like normal people. They're, sociopaths, psychopaths, and they're easily influenced, especially younger kids. So I'm 50-50 with that.
No, but
go ahead.
I'm sorry. My point is that the implication is that nobody is investigating.
Agreed. And that's wrong. Yes.
And that is just absolutely wrong. And it's been wrong.
Yeah.
And the expectation that the FBI or whoever would be telling us that they're investigating it is ridiculous.
100%. They would not let us know.
It just pisses me off. Like, these people, most of these people are smart enough because they're conspiratorial retards. They know enough to know that that's not true, that you wouldn't show your hand on what you're investigating. So it's all bullshit, and it just pisses me off.
You bring up a good point. So they can come up with these conspiracies of all these people working behind the scenes to do this nefarious stuff, but they can't use their big, bright imagination to imagine that there are people behind the scenes that are working together in conspiracy to actually find bad guys, like law enforcement does on a regular basis.
Exactly.
That is not even a thought that crosses their mind. And yeah, that's not an investigation that we'd be privy to, and rightfully so. And, it may end up not leading to any sort of arrests. I don't necessarily buy the idea that they're going to wait until they get a conviction from Tyler Robinson before they would potentially, if they had someone in custody or they knew who they were, or they had evidence to arrest them. I don't necessarily buy into that, but But everything else you said, I agree with 100%, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's just a theory for me because it proves an underlying crime that if there's conspirators, right, that, okay, now we have the underlying crime charged and convicted, that then now we can proceed with the conspirators. Now that we know the other crime is convicted, now you are convicted of a conspiracy to commit murder. Why would you do both at the same time? I don't know enough about. I'm not a lawyer.
This is like the idea where people are telling me, and I've had this confirmed by lawyers that it's not true, like that TPUSA or Eric Kirk would wait until Tyler got a conviction before they would actually try to sue for defamation. That's not true.
Yeah.
And by the way, it'll be too long. The other thing too is the reason I would push back on your theory on this and why it doesn't make sense to me is that that would provide more evidence against Tyler Robinson, that they would be showing these messages, they would be showing this influence, whatever's going on there, the coordination between these people. So,
that's a good point.
So,
yep, I hadn't
so
thought
not
about that.
only would they be able to charge Tyler Robinson with, capital murder essentially, but on top of that, a conspiracy to commit murder, which they would add to those charges. So I'm with you. I
hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
good point.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here for all the
Thanks, buddy.
Furman Phil, go ahead, buddy. Furman Files.
Hey, Gary, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks for letting me come up.
You're welcome.
So I guess probably like a month ago, I was asking you about if you were live streaming, which might seem insignificant, but I guess I was curious if since then you've gained any recollection in regards to like if you remember that you were live streaming or not.
You talking about,
or if you know
when Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, I mean, I honestly haven't. I don't even know why that would be necessarily relevant. But no, I haven't really put that much more thought into it. I've been asked about it since then. My answer is the same. I don't remember. I just don't remember, to be honest with you, man. And I don't remember if I saw it when it was happening. And I'll tell you that time, like I was literally up for like 4 days with like 3 or 4 hours of sleep between the live stream, trying to keep what's going on. So that whole time period, I'll just be honest with you, is kind of a blur. I do think that there was live streams happening, but I mean, I guess the more I've thought about it, I think I saw it right after I heard about it. But honestly, I don't have. That was a year ago.
Gary, what's going on, buddy? How's that TPUSA money?
Wait, hold up.
Hold
we
on,
were in the
please.
middle of a conversation.
So my answer is still the same, Vermin.
Well, hey, thank you for saying that. I'm kind of neutral, and I'm trying to figure this out as well as all of us, because we all care about Charlie Kirk. We all care about Turning Point, and
Sure.
I hate defamation and all this, but do you know any details on the live stream or who could have, other than you or anyone else that might have been potentially watching? Like I heard there was like a funding event where some people might have been watching the live stream, but have you heard anything in regards to the specific?
No, the only ambiguous answer that I've heard, and it's something I would probably follow up on. The only ambiguous answer I've heard, it was from Blake Neff. I think it was on a space, and he was saying that like he couldn't remember if they were live streaming or not. They may have been streaming it back to headquarters, or it might have been live streaming. I feel like I've seen reports where it was definitely live streaming. I can imagine they would take that down immediately. So
Was Blake Neff, wasn't he the producer of the Charlie Kirk show or Turning Point?
No, so
was what live streaming? The Charlie's Talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, the speech on 910 at UVU. Was he the producer?
Fox News was covering it live when it happened. I was watching it live on Fox News.
Right, but I mean specifically a Turning Point USA live stream. Do y'all know?
I was watching it live on Capitol Hill when it happened on network television.
Yeah,
Okay, Gary.
Yeah, I don't know if that was.
I'll step down.
No, you're fine. I don't have an answer for you. I feel like it was being live streamed. When that was first asked about that, my initial answer was like, yeah, I was watching it live. And then I started thinking about it. Like, I don't remember if I was watching it live or not, to be honest with you. And no, I don't have any additional answers for you. I mean, I would, try messaging somebody at TPUSA or something along those lines. I'm curious, like, what is like the relevance of that in your mind?
In my mind, the specific relevance would be, I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out what happened, and it seems like there's been a lot of recent discussion and talks and rumors in regards to, like, if Tyler didn't do it, then who would have been watching it, or if he wasn't shot with a projectile. So, like, I feel like in your defense too, if you could give like an adequate or qualifying or like a full answer in regards to like what in regard to if it was being watched live, because the broadcasting unit on the table is bidirectional. There's a lot of people that think since it wasn't like, if it wasn't a gunshot, then that someone could have utilized the capabilities of that broadcasting unit in order to interfere or interact with certain equipment surrounding the tent and the AV table to kill him somehow. That's just for
I mean, if you're gonna go step into that level of supposition and like, like either on the table or around there, that equipment could exist, but I'm still missing the evidence of something other than, whether, are you talking about exploding mic?
They streamed all that shit on their Facebook and X live.
Hold up, if you don't mind, Cam. I was talking to Gary, but I was, I mean, whether it's an exploding microphone or whatever the other theories are, if there's something that has,
I can jump in.
Sure.
Well,
but I'm saying, go ahead, Gary.
I mean, again, so first we have to create a scenario in our minds that something that there is no evidence for. And then on top of that, we go from that speculation to we build on top of another element of speculation. Well, there could have been something that, triggered this device. And then, on top of that, we build into the speculation of, okay, well, how do we cover the gunshot? Because there was a gunshot, there was a supersonic event that was recorded on audio. Well, there was a gunshot and there was somebody on the roof, and then we captured that bullet in, I guess, ballistic gel. It seems to be the running theory with this. But we go back to the very first thing, and that is the problem with the exploding mic is we don't have an explosion. Like, there's no explosion. Like,
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
Like, I don't care what type of propellant that you have, you still have, the visual, the observable visuals and audio. We also don't have any audio that comes from it. We would have had an explosive audio signature. We don't see anything. We don't hear anything. Like, if it doesn't look like it exists, it doesn't sound like it exists, I don't think it exists. And so why build on more onto that? That's where I'm at with that. Like, whether or not it was live streaming.
Can I ask you one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
The another reason why I'm asking you is because Blake Neff, and he's the producer of Charlie Kirk's show, and it seems like anyone that I've asked this question to, and actually you're actually the only person I've actually gotten to ask this question to, so I actually appreciate you answering that too. But it seems like, and last time I asked you about it, I compared it to 9/11, and I feel like that's fair, at least for my generation. I'm sure you remember where you were on 9/11. But every single time I ask someone affiliated with Turning Point if they were watching it live, everyone gives me the same answer, that they don't remember. So I'm with you in the sense that, like, I'm pro First and Second Amendment, and I feel like we have the right to ask questions, and it seems suspicious at the least. And I'm not making claims or accusing or defaming anyone. It just seems strange that we don't have those clear answers.
Well, Erica was watching it live.
Do we know that? I don't know that we know that.
No, we know it. She's said in interviews.
Did she? Okay. I don't know that I've actually heard that.
Well, if she was, would you deny that?
Me?
Yeah.
If Erica was watching the stream live?
Yeah. Would you deny it if she said she was?
No, I have no idea. That's why I'm up here asking why no one can give clear answers.
I feel like that was probably one of those throwaway, and look, I think it's probably a question that should be answered at some point. I mean, I'm not that particular interested in it, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like if you showed me.
Well, let's say somebody up here could say, yeah, I was watching it live. Like, yeah, I was watching it on.
Yeah, I'd ask him like where they were and who they were with, and if they were affiliated with Turning Point.
Okay, it's kind of like a mass. It's kind of one of these mass observation events. Like, it sort of, not only would you have to, have everybody there as part of the conspiracy, but you would have to also have everybody there and their friends, and there's certain degrees of separation as part of the conspiracy as well.
I just feel like this is becoming a super overcomplicated conversation where to clear you guys, or not you guys, but Turning Point USA of any more further accusations or suspicion that civilian investigators might have, it would be helpful to get some clear answers to simple
Civilian
questions like that.
investigators. I don't know if civilian investigators, really have any business asking that.
I mean, they can. There's nothing wrong with asking it, I guess. But look,
I mean,
at the
just
end,
what's
we
the?
can be for real that the bar.
That's really a dumb
Hold on, let me
question to
finish.
say.
The bar
because
for clearing TPUSA.
did it really
or anybody
happen?
else,
Cam, stop being a dick.
all right, hold on.
The bar.
Ken, I'm gonna drop you
The
down.
bar for clear. The
I
bar
wanna
for
put a button in this.
clearing. The bar for clearing people like TPUSA is a ridiculous bar, and these people are just ridiculous. And
All right. Look, all right. Everybody,
unfathomable.
just quit cutting in. I'm talking to Furman real quick. I want to handle this. I want to put a button in this and move on. But look, I think at the end of the day, put a pin in it. See, it's too late. We need to put a pin in this conversation. But regardless, look, at the end of the day, I don't know that it matters, because we don't have any evidence for that. And look, and as far
would you be willing to let Stu Peters come up here and talk?
This whole space was for Stu Peters. I don't know why he's coming here at 1 a.m. when I was getting ready to close it down, but sure, I'll let him talk for a minute. The other thing too, Furman, is going back to Blake Neff. He's a producer of the Charlie Kirk Show. This was a TPUSA event, and so that is an important area of distinction.
Clarification. Yeah, I appreciate that
distinction. So he wasn't there. I don't even know what exactly his role was there. He's talked about it. I just don't remember what it was. So my answer's, the long answer short is, it's the same as it was before, buddy.
I appreciate it. And hey, if any of y'all are willing to, I pinned a post up there. One of our friends, he's going through a tough time, and he's got cancer. So if anybody has time to send him a couple bucks for coffee, that'd be great. Thanks for letting me talk, Gary.
Yeah. All right. So, I didn't even see this newly public Discord warrant. All right. So up in the Jumbotron, Jane Doe, wrote Tyler Robinson, newly public Discord warrant, Zealous Monkey 55095, my effing doppelganger trying to get me in trouble. You guys can read it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through the last people that are up, that have requested, that are in the chat right now, and then I'm running on fumes, folks. So real quick, we had John. I feel like I kept skipping over him, and then Blazer. Oh no, John, go ahead, John.
Gary, I was just coming in through my computer and I can't stay up unless I come up as a speaker. But if I'm just a listener, it kicks me out every minute or two, and I have to keep going out and coming back in.
Oh, no worries.
Anyhow, look, I appreciate everything you're doing, man. I'm so sick of the other side. it looks like to me they're just doing everything in their power just to make Tyler Robinson. I mean, I think some of them even know that Tyler Robinson done it, but they're still doing everything in their power. I don't know why they want to make him free. I mean, I don't know if it's money. Some of them, to me, it looks like they're just in it trying to destroy our country. I mean,
well,
I see some of them.
There is that. A lot of them are not friend of MAGA and Trump, and a lot of them are leftists. The other part is they feel like they're part of a clique. I mean, I look at their spaces, the spaces that they have with Uncle Tom and Leslie and Blake and all these. This is like a thing that they.
Oh, Gary, you love them.
I do love them. I love them.
They had a guy in there today, Gary. I don't even know who held the space, but I was watching a little bit. There was a guy named Joshua in there, and
I hope y'all can all be friends at the end of this,
and
man.
all of them was coming against him. I mean, it's like that same little group. They're trying to find a way to, I don't know. And he was making plenty of good sense. I mean, everything he said, but it's like they're going to find a way to somehow or another try to make Tyler Robinson like he didn't have nothing to do.
Hey, John, they do give you a voice in there, though. They do allow you to talk and give you your point of view. You gotta respect that.
Well, they do, but hey, when they do, they beat you down. I mean, it's like everyone.
Everybody loves you there, John. Come on, bud.
If you say Tyler Robinson done it, I mean, if I was to come in there and say I believed in the exploding mic or necklace or some crazy stuff, you would be good to go. But the minute you say that you think Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, every one of them comes at you.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, John. And John, I know that I don't agree with your folding rifle theory, but you're always welcome here. And I think generally speaking, we believe that what the evidence says, and the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. Blazer, go ahead, buddy. Blazer.
Gary, let's end the night like that. I'm not trying to bring any bad blood in here. Come on.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Well, listen, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We'll definitely hold another one on Monday. I'm gonna start doing Monday, Wednesday, and probably Thursdays. So write that down. We're definitely going live tomorrow with the Beard Lawyer. I believe that's 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's up. You guys go check that out. We're going to be talking about the Moncrone case. It'll go back to, for sure, the Tyler Robinson case as well. There's been some other legal developments in the Brian Harpole case, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But I appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe, all those things. Everybody that's watching on YouTube. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.